Three live crew, we be dropping like bang. We still be getting rowdy. Three live crew, we still be bounty bounty. Three live crew, we be dropping like bang. Three live crew, cause we be doing the damn thing. We the Three Live Crew, and it's me, the B Jizzle. I'm rocking on the mic, can't you hear that fizzle sizzle? I step into the game yelling orderly, from Mexico all the way to the USA. We ass on up and watch them get dropped. Three Live Crew, through the best, dropping hip hop. Still be getting rowdy. You still be bounty bounty. We be dropping like bang. Cause we be doing the damn thing.
Hello, this is Spotlight, recorded live here on Grapple Patreon. I'm Benno.
And I'm Matty.
And Matty was a bit scared about what I was going to use for the music / the image that I did there. He's thrown up there just for a split second, Matty, just to keep you on your toes. But I thought I'd pick something a bit neutral, something we can both love, mate. It's been the week of Three Live Crew. We've got Road Dogg tweeting, we've had Conan doing commentary, and the entire wrestling business is now built around Ron the Truth Killing. So it fits,
mate. What is going on? It's bananas, isn't it? It genuinely is like a time warp. It's incredible, really. It really is.
TNA was always right. That's what we always find out. But we're a little bit later on this Tuesday night. I was just basically I was recording Benno and Hamflet with Hamflet. We ran a little bit late, so I apologise. It's very late in the evening. But it's your favourite podcast, Matty, so I thought you'd appreciate that as the reason we didn't get done. Hopefully we'll hear Hamflet on some Grapple Airways coming up. But yeah, you've had the weekend off, mate. How have you been? Not much going on. Missed you on the Dominion podcast on Sunday. I assume you were listening along. Were you doing were you watching the other Okada Omega matches? Is that what you've been doing this weekend?
Well, to be fair, it sounds like and feels like I wasn't missed at all, which is always a good sign.
Of course you were, mate. Of course you were.
Well, I couldn't add any more except for me Ken love, but it seems like Gareth done an incredible job breaking down the matches. Like only he can, like only I know he can as well, doing it monthly with them. But it seems like it was a good nostalgic Ben for 7 years ago, like thinking time. So it's insane, really, isn't it? It is. We always say it, always.
To tease you, we were just saying then on Benno and Hamflet that we'll be out this weekend. Ted DiBiase's in-ring WWF run, the same length as Bronson Reed's in-ring WWF run. How's that possible? But apparently it is. All things are possible in podcasting. But no, you're totally right. Like, Gareth was amazing this weekend. Like, I know we like to go into plug mode, but like not even as a plug, just as like, wow, wasn't my mate boss at that? Like, he was just so fucking good, like reeling off the detail of the Omega Okada matches, detail that I hope Omega and Okada themselves know that they did and remember that they did when it comes to the match coming up in July. But yeah, there's only one man that can do that stuff, and it's our Gareth. Doesn't save it just for Brett, doesn't save it just for Steve, they're in for Ken. I mean, it feels like your Ken as well, like, 2018 era was very much your Ken. I assume you saw the run time of the 2 out of 3 falls match even in 2018 and we're like, I'll leave that. I can't be asked.
That was always my favourite one because he won, didn't he? That was always my favourite one. It's as simple as that with me, Ben.
It's not real,
Well, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends on the week. Depends on what we're talking about, to be honest. Exactly, it might be real for both of us today. We're in for a rough ride, both of us. I don't know who's going to have the worst day.
Very real tonight, mate. Okay, now.
It's so funny because, like, obviously we put this together as like a Tuesday spotlight. It was originally going to be a Monday spotlight. Thank God we didn't, because there's a lot of things that have seemingly happened over the last couple of days. But yeah, it works out. We're giving you a Sunday off to make it all work. You won't have next Sunday off as we'll be doing the Terry Film Club 1993. Gareth already booked that one off, so I'm sorry, mate. You're on. You're doing that show.
Always in the film club.
ROH. Eddie also revealed his King of the Mountain pick, which is ROH versus CZW. We're doing the Anatomy of a Feud coming up over on the Patreon. We're in plug mode already. Might as well go right into it. And we've got the big one that I think most people are going to be looking forward to, Matty. Never mind watching wrestling. Never mind breaking down wrestling matches in the words of our guys. We're going to be doing the grapple quiz at the end of the one. The first inaugural one. And there's only one man who could be quizmaster the first time out. So I'll even compliment you, mate. It's you. You're going to be testing me, Gareth, and JP on our Fed knowledge coming up this week? Should they be scared? Should they be excited? I don't know. Where should they be?
And yeah, I'm thinking of all sorts of questions. Obviously, not going to make them too hard. I'm going to make some obvious, Ben, that I think you guys will even forget. You know what I mean? But it's just one of them. Who do a channel, Ben? Me in a channel, like what do I watch? What game show host do I watch to get a bit of this, a bit of that from them? You know what I mean? Do I go all Les Dennis? Do I go Dana St. Do I go Barrymore? Do I go William G. Stewart on 15 to 1? Do I do a combination of them all? You know, JP, you'll give me an hand to see who I should be studying. Bradley Walsh, maybe not. But we'll
Henry Kelly.
Yeah,
and says here in the chat.
One as well, yeah. Someone with a bit of oomph about them maybe as well. But no, that'll be good, Ben. That'll be a good time, that one. So it's as always, Ben, on Grapple. It's an eclectic month to say the least, mate. On especially this one.
Trying to lean into all of our kind of strengths really when it comes to that. So, you know, obviously I've got me ROH CZW coming up. That'll be my corner, as Platt says here. It's he's halfway through the homework already. Bloody hell, it's like 6 discs. How's he managed that? But
it's more week for Platt.
Honestly, the man does well. But yeah, that'll be it. That'll be my time to shine. Yours will be the quiz. And yeah, film club. That's obviously our JP's time to become a full film buff and review such great performances as Hulk, Terry Hogan in Mr. Nanny. Sorry, JP, but he's a media studies teacher. He understands how these things work. So yeah, plenty of that coming up, as well as obviously Brett Show coming up this month, and Time will be filling in for Spotlight the 3rd week of the month as well. So lots to look forward to. But I almost feel like I've got to rush through the plugs, Matty, because like this is the busiest this live chat. So just put me in mind at ease. I've been recording for the last 3 hours. Like nothing's happened, has it? Like there hasn't, like no one's died or something, or like there's been some breaking news. Is it just people want to hear you have a go at me and me have a go at you? Is that are we drawing an audience? Is that what this is?
Weekend show was kind of like simmering as well, wasn't it? And it's like
was it? I thought I had a nice time.
No, but it was like viewers wise, it was simmering, it was holding up, and now this. So it's obviously as I think they know what's coming, Ben. And as I say, nothing's ever written down. I've got no notes yet. It's just off the cuff. Just don't poke me too much, Ben. Otherwise, we might have 30 viewers by the end of this. But we'll see how we go. Come on.
That's my cue to poke Matty as much as I can. Like I joked about it there, but yeah, this would have been one of those mornings. I got up this morning and was just like, fuck, we did Spotlight on the wrong night. Imagine, because like we were going to lead with Money in the Bank. I reckon we'll spend 10 minutes on the actual contents of Money in the Bank today.
3 weeks ago.
Because, I mean, nothing happened. I mean, yeah. And it took 3 weeks to get through that main event. So we will at least be talking about that on Worlds Collide. But yeah, it's one of those weeks, mate. I joked to you in our WhatsApp conversation this morning. Monday Night Raw, the place where all the news comes and where everything's going on. It's like, did Triple H get a memo? Did somebody at Netflix go, you know what? Things, you know when you book things, Paul, mate, what you need to do is have things actually happen and then just make them all happen on a Monday. Maybe that's what happens.
Right. I say it's a bit of everything, isn't it? You're saying there about it being real. Like, before, it's like this is a combination of everything, isn't it? Like actually a newsworthy show actually on the wrestling side of it with the title change and such. And then obviously we're going to delve into the real life stuff with only CM Punk / Phil Brooks can ever do. So it's a wild one, Ben. But yeah, you're all right. So glad we chose tonight to record this. It's wild.
It's worked out well. I don't know. Where do we start, Matty? I was gonna ease our way in. Should we start with Ron Killings and we'll move up, or do we start with one of the hot topics and
we'll start with Ron Killings? I think, man. We've got to start with that because it's, as you say, I'd say the weekend show. It's not come out of nowhere, but what's going on? You lead the way here, mate. But bloody hell.
He's the main character in pro wrestling, mate. It's Ron the Truth Killings, and that's what we've established over this weekend. And also, it's not Triple H. Triple H, like I still don't understand that press conference answer. Like, you know, like if he's saying it's a work, why? If it was a work. And I think Will Washington pointed this out. Why would you not keep the work going? Why would you admit it to like a group of... Why would that be the moment that you revealed it? Like, surely, like acting like it was a shoot, whether it's a shoot or it's not a shoot, would be the best way to effectively tell a story that you're telling. Like, that part I totally don't understand. And also just the mess they've gotten themselves into, like by... working themselves into a shoot by, like we were saying it. I don't think, you know, people might expect you to be the Fed defender on some of the stories we're going to talk about today, but I don't think you were a Fed defender at all when it came to R-Truth getting that John Cena spot on Saturday night's main event a couple of weeks ago. That was the own goal. Like, I honestly think they could have sacked Ron Killings, like, after, say he wasn't on TV for the last 6 months and a news story came out this week that said Ron the Truth Killing contract is not being renewed. Like, there'd still be wrestlers who'd go on
Just get
Twitter
your
and they'd be
morale
like,
back, yeah.
oh, that's gutting. Ronnie, what a great guy. Really devastated about it. There wouldn't have been this, like, groundswell of support, would there? There wouldn't have been, like, this whole fucking chanting and signs and, like, all of that stuff. Like, they completely created that problem themselves by doing that, by putting him on TV in a feud with John Cena as, like, a top babyface. Like, that was entirely them, front of mind. And then, obviously, to handle it the way they did, and, you know, have him go out on Twitter. And now, subsequently, kind of be... And we said that you were totally right on Weekend Show. We were talking about, like, the backstage maneuvering of it all, the fact that there's very clearly these different pockets of power in WWE. I think Triple H's answer at the presser tells you that, like, this is not his doing. This is very clearly, as the news reports have been saying, you know, it's said that it's Nick Khan that got in touch with R-Truth, Ron Killings, and got him to come back, and he wasn't answering calls until he got through.
Everyone.
But then you've got kind of like, it feels like the WWE corporate side definitely want to push that narrative that they listen to the fans and now look what's happened. But then I feel like there's the Triple H side of it, which has came out today. It's kind of like, hang on, listen to the fans and we let the fans have a voice and let them rebel. Like, we haven't got control anymore. What are they going to do next? Are they going to like try and get going next? That paranoia is what clues in why he answered that question so badly on Sunday. But it's very clearly like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. And now it's being reported that Triple H isn't happy that it's upset his like creative plans for the next while, because now he's got to book another Ron the Truth Killings versus John Cena match like coming up. But to be honest, that country look, I never buy that, because I just think nothing happens in his booking anyway. It gives him like at least one more month, maybe two, maybe even three, to not do anything, to not tell any more stories, to not do any more like bullet points. It'll just be like, all right, we'll give it 3 months, and then once we're past the truth stuff, then we'll get to my booking. Like, time is what this man loves. It's his like you, mate, it's his favourite thing.
Yeah, but mate, I mean, where do we start there? You start with the R-Truth himself, Ron Killings. Like, he's played it well, considering coming back on his own
performance
terms.
on Raw was great.
Yeah,
we'll
and even like ignoring the calls until Nick Khan, maybe he's older now. Even the fact that he's coming back with his real name now, because apparently when his deal's done, isn't it, that he can go. He's got that exposure as Ron Killings when he uses that name on the Indies. You know, even when this current run ends. But I mean, it's great for him, and he was good on Raw. And like we said, like I said, didn't I? Like, when he goes to TNA or whatever promotion he landed in, it's like you want him to be Ron Killings. You don't want him to be R-Truth playing comedy. You want him to be a bit serious. I just didn't think it would happen back this quick on WWE TV. You know what I mean? I was thinking TNA or something like that. So, considering we're gonna have to, as you say, watch this feud unfold and watch this guy.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but at least it's the serious side of Ron Killings, and I hope that continues. And whether he's 53, whether he deserves it or not, at least you're going to hopefully get a bit of seriousness instead of the comedy. That's the positive that I'm going to cling to, because if it was just back to the old R-Truth stuff, then I just wouldn't be up for it. But at least there's that. But to Triple H, Ben, I mean, how really insecure. Everyone's always said it, and I always try and like stick up for it. I don't know why sometimes, but that answer pissed me off. It's like, what a smug answer, though, the way he delivered it, as if like it was all it was just awful. It was just so bad. Like, what? Terrible.
What master does it save? I don't understand it. Like, obviously, as we know, like the one thing Triple H wants is to take credit for everything. So I guess that's what it is, isn't it? Like, you can't get the fucker off telly. Like, even like before Raw, he got him. Like, again, we're telling this story of like this, and again, it's Triple H's WWE, isn't it? So of course he dressed like a member of the Bloodline, wore a black hood, and did the return that everybody has done. Like literally every member of the Bloodline has done that act. But like, if you're going to do that story and you're going to act like he's like the fans have pushed for him to come back, and he's going to stand on the announce table and be this rebel, like, why take the backstage photo with him? But that goes further with him. You know, why?
Yeah. He's trying to save face, saying it wasn't him getting rid of him and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, 100%.
It's all there, but that's the thing. He's so petty and he's so small that he can't. Like, again, this was the moment. Cody Rhodes handled it way better in the presser after Money in the Bank. Cody Rhodes being like, "Yeah, you know, you talked and we listened." That's all you had to say. Yeah, Cody is like Mr. PR, isn't he? Cody is like, he's plastic at times, isn't he? Like, I love him, but I often wonder how he's still over as a babyface with how heelish some of his personal tendencies are and how corporate he can be. He handles those situations so much better. And yeah, like, we were negative. Like I said it on the Thursday show with JP, and I said it we're going to record with you on Friday, like, about, you know, the fact that this is Ron Killings is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that there was all this momentum and push to bring him back over all of the other crimes, real and imagined, and most of them real, WWE have done over the years, both with like wrestlers and just with, you know, very, very serious matters that people don't rebel against. But at the end of the day, it still happened, didn't it? And it was still, you know, that wave of momentum is something you've got to take advantage of, and that wave of momentum is something you've got to try and turn into money. I reckon he was halfway, like I joked there, playing the 3 Live Crew song to open us up, but he was probably halfway through those conversations with TNA or with other promotions about, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to smoke a massive biff there, I'm going to swear a bit, and I'm going to say the truth will set you free, and I'll, you know, he was probably creatively halfway through, and I'm going to fucking shoot on WWE and call them a bunch of cunts for you know, for the from his personal point of view, the way they went about releasing him, maybe less the releasing him. And I think he's just taken those creative juices and put it back into like this WWE stuff and put it back into what he did on Raw. Like you said, the problem is you're setting up a Ron Killings match, now we're going to get another Ron Killings John Cena match. But I think as a character, I think he could do compelling stuff. 3 Live Crew was the jokey part of his TNA career, but as JP said, like the earlier parts of his TNA career when he was the NWA champion and he was cutting those promos week on week, he was fantastic in that role, and he could just tap a little bit into that. Until the bell rings, you might have something. And yeah, I've actually, despite all the negative things I said last week, I've got a lot of respect for him for, you know, for recognizing that and for wanting to do something different here.
But this is the epitome, Ben. How many times have you said it to me over the years, and I've even said it jokingly? This is the epitome of playing to the fan base, though. Because even me, what you said there as well, it's at the end of the day, it's still 53-year-old Ron Killings, and as I said there positively, at least he's being a serious character. You know, he cut his hair, everything going forward. It's a completely different character change. But Ben, it was over. I hate to even say the fans did react, and they are reacting to this because it is playing into, as you say, this real life stuff. But it can't last that long, can it? I mean, it can't. Surely it's a month or 2 month extension.
Well, it's all because he's got a weird deal. Like, it's to tell this the way Meltzer worded it didn't fully make sense, but it's to play this story out, and it's more of an employee deal. Like, maybe it leads to a Legends contract or something like that. I think people are speculating, which would make sense. And maybe that tells you that there's going to be like a limited time on they tell this specific particular story with them, and then they all agree it's, you know, time to not have on TV. But again, what are situations for all parties to find themselves in?
But it's a bit of a segue, because if you were doing this and it was a short story, you do it in Saudi, though. You do this. Like, it's scaring me even thinking about it. And I might eat my words if it is the most compelling thing, which I doubt it will be, but is this going to be SummerSlam? I mean, is this going to be the SummerSlam main event, one of them? Jesus Christ.
That's why Triple H is fuming.
This is what I'm saying. It's like, there's pros and obviously a lot of cons to this as well. It's just so bizarre, though, at the end of the day, that it's how's our truth, whether he's loved or not, whether it's over or not, how's he in the main event? And this is kind of, I know we got released this time, or his contract let go expired, but this was even Triple H's case in point. Do you remember the night Randy Orton come back, and obviously the night CM Punk come back, Benno to WWE? Everyone forgets R-Truth come back, and they kind of joked about that. That's how he moved around. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, but this is what played into it. This is what played into him being in Judgment Day. This is what played into him and Miz winning the tag titles. They created a thing where they put him on TV. The fans in the building are going to react. So Triple H think, well, I'm going to have to use him now. This is what happened on a lower scale when they got the tag belts at WrestleMania. But obviously now, he's been released, and it's a much bigger scale that he's going to be in probably the main event of SummerSlam. It's outrageous when you really think about it. It's so fucking wacky. It's wild.
Who are these people who were so into R-Truth that they made this happen?
I don't know. As everyone agrees, like, he is funny. He's a great character to have. Just keep him out the ring, or if you
10 years ago.
He's jobbing, though. Like, he jobbed to, fucking Jeff Cobb. He's jobbed to everybody, hasn't he? Because he's been treated as a comedy character. Yet we all like the guy. We all respect he's a veteran, and he's good for morale. We understand that, and he's a lovely fella, and he's hilarious. But he's been treated on TV like an absolute joke for how long? Like, what are we meant to do here? But it's wild. It is. I can't explain it, really. Can't.
That's a great counter, by the way. Chris Elliott says there he can't believe the amount of people who still think it's a work.
That's bad.
Like, I'm sure your Twitter timeline's full of people with Roman Reigns avatars. I'm sure they're all swearing blind to the Papa H would never lie to them. But, like, I mean, just look at that point you just made that he put over Jeff Cobb. It's not like he lost to Cena and then disappeared and then came back. Like, exactly. He was very clearly doing business.
Triple H, of course. Of course.
It doesn't deserve any airtime, really. I mean, the last thing I'll say on it, because obviously the two biggest stories are coming. Don't worry, folks. But like, it somehow has become the biggest thing in wrestling. But like, I did genuinely think the segment on Raw was good. I think he cut a good promo. Like you said, cutting the hair off was good. Throwing in the old, nothing but the truth old catchphrases that he used to use. Bit indie, bit 2000s, but that's when he used those catchphrases. So it kind of works. But it felt real. It was like, we're going to talk Money in the Bank, but like you could feel it, like the look he was giving the crowd when they were going mental for him. Like you could see the emotion, you could see it almost like he was shaking, like because he's anger. It's like righteous, whether he's right or not, but righteous indignation of like the lack of respect. And he said, put some respect on my name, all that stuff. Like I've seen people describe. I've seen a couple of videos today, like my version of the Roman Reigns avatars. His Facebook just gives me wrestling suggested stuff, and like I saw a video that called it a heel turn, and it's like, well, that's wrong because. Otherwise, why will you attack John Cena and set up this match coming up?
Exactly.
But it was such a reset that I can kind of understand, someone stupid who doesn't know what words means calling it that. It was a full reset though, and it actually arguably could be effective as as a heel character. But it might last as long as the milk in the fridge. To quote Simon there in the chat, but there's a little bit of money on the table there to be made. Again, until the bell rings. But I thought the promo segment was actually probably the best thing on Raw. Wild to say.
It was good, and I say the reactions were there all the way through as well. When he first, come out, and then they reacting to every line. When he cut his hair off, they reacting to that as like an oh my god moment. So as you say, there it was well done. But let's just see how they handle it, because this is always the thing with you're getting a bit of buzz. It's let's see how they follow it through. And let's see the payoff ultimately in the end. Because Ben, dare I say, I've seen people say it. Does he actually win the world title? I can't believe I'm saying these words, Ben. I'm not saying it. I've seen it written down.
And then which belt? The actual belt or the one that doesn't matter that your mate lost this week? The one
John Cena's got. He's not going to be good for, is he? Fucking hell.
I mean, worst wrestlers have. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. You're lucky. That could be my segue into that, but I'll hold that one for the third story, mate. We'll stay in running sheet order. Like, do you think this has any effect on like the obvious other elephant in the room to talk about, like the fallout from Raw last night, which is John Cena and CM Punk being set up for Saudi, which is like some monkey's paw stuff that, like, whatever. You get CM Punk gets his wish. He gets back to WWE, and there he is. He gets his first world title match in a long time. I did see somebody point out today hasn't won a match since February, but we'll just leave that little fact on the ground there for fantastic booker Papa H. But yeah, the fact that it's happening in Saudi is like, one, as Meltzer has said today, very clearly something I think Punk had the stroke to fight against if he wanted to, and the fact that he didn't is gigantically disappointing. Don't put your faith in. Don't make wrestlers your heroes, especially gigantically hypocritical wrestlers like Phil Brooks. I think we've been consistent about that, even if we've maybe fell for that from time to time. But like, it feels like before we get into like the ins and outs of it and his tweet and his everything, it's been hilarious following the last 24 hours of people giving him, the shit that he rightly deserves. Like, this almost feels like a troll job. This almost feels like maybe like plans changed, or like, I don't know, like they just decided, we'll test your loyalty, Phil. You're going to get a world title match with John Cena, but guess where it's going to be taken? Saudi Arabia. Almost felt like a shoot. It almost felt like he didn't answer the question on Raw itself when Cena put it to him, because, he didn't want to be the one to say it, and they had Michael Cole say it on the audio, because like he knows how much of a hypocrite this makes him. Maybe he'll come out and he'll fucking donate some of his salary to a charity or something like that, or he'll have more bollocks than the wrestlers that have came before him. But I don't think on current evidence that is happening. I think corporate man Phil is here to say. But we'll start there with like the manoeuvring that's got us here, because like that just makes no sense to me. Like, Money in the Bank just happened. Money in the Bank is where the most famous CM Punk and John Cena match happened. It's not like the main event of this year's Money in the Bank was so fucking prestigious that Cena just had to do that tag. Like, surely that could have been the match on Sunday, and they could have done the tag in Saudi. Is Logan Paul not available to go to Saudi Arabia? Like, what's the mechanism that's got us here that has backed Phil into a corner where he's got to eat his own words? Like, it feels like there's a story there.
But even worse, Benno, you're going for continuity on the telly. Why isn't R-Truth just attack Cena? Why aren't they going straight to that? Why has this been plugged in? As you say, I think it is. What world are we living in And it is hilarious, though, that CM Punk's been being presented as the setup guy for R-Truth getting a world title shot for SummerSlam. It's fucked, isn't it? That's the ultimate test to fucking CM Punk. Saudi on top of that as well. It's just, honestly, Ben, I said this a couple of weeks back. It's been all over the show. There's still moments where I'll cling to. I'm sorry if I'm going all over the show because I will get back on track. There's still things I like. There's still things I'm always going to cling to that'll appease me. But I don't know what's going on at the minute. I genuinely don't. And I said I'd give him till SummerSlam, Triple H. I don't care how he gets. He's got to nail that landing at SummerSlam for me, regardless. And then I'll be turning myself. But this is part of it. Even if you're watching it continuity-wise, R-Truth just laid Cena out. Yeah, he's come out and cut a promo. But why are we going to Punk and Cena? It's wild. I can't give you an answer for that. Apart from this real-life stuff, as yours said, is it a test? But as Platt said in the chat, and that's the one for me, because I've always stuck up for Punk, probably more than you guys, because I'm not as obviously a deeper fan. I thought he'd never go to Saudi. I genuinely thought. But the minute that Royal Rumble got announced there, I'm thinking, how's he going to miss the Royal Rumble? He's one of the biggest stars they've got. How can you get round that? You can't, can you? So this is his like little test of like, all right, we'll do this, and then you know he's going to be in the Rumble then. And it's, but as you say, not to even, they even kind of hint. Well, they didn't hint at it. They presented it on Raw, like, you know, real life. Oh, we know you don't. You've said this in the past, and as you say, not having the bollocks or the balls or whatever you want to say, yeah,
he was in third, wasn't he?
Yeah,
it was in third from Cena, like, you know, well, if you want it, it's got to be in Saudi. Hint, hint. You
got to follow me to Saudi.
You don't want to go there. Yeah, that's the way he worded it, wasn't it? It was presented so fucking weird. It was like John says here in the chat there, like say at the time and does work in WWE's favor, I suppose. In that, like, yeah, if he missed this tour, again to your point, they advertised him, didn't they? They had him in the video package and then they took him out almost as if somebody had a conversation and said he's not going, take him out. Yeah. It would have taken over the Rumble conversation in January that he was in there, and like, you know, now they get to have the mini storm in a teacup now and not deal with like a major storm, you know, come January and have it take attention away from stuff. Like, but it does seem like something's happened, like there's been some kind of conversation or there's been some kind of game of chicken going on, because like, I mean, if anyone's expecting it, like I can't defend CM Punk here and I wouldn't want to. Like, I think he rightly should be, like, he should basically have his own words shoved in his face, which is what's happening. Like, the internet never forgets. Like, and he is the type, he'll do like a passive aggressive Instagram post where he'll say something like, you know, you can't judge me till you've run a mile in your shoes. Yep. Right, mate. So when you did that tweet about The Miz, where you're not inviting people to tweet to judge The Miz, you were, weren't you? When you were saying, basically, like, we're in a world in 2025 where like every word of Seth freaking fucking Rollins promos are true. Like, Punk has, in his own words, Punk is doing all of the things that he gave WWE roster shit for. And I say that as a grown-up who knows, like, you know, the things he was saying about WWE and the raw AEW speeches he was doing, they were all self-serving. They were always self-serving. You know, it's entertaining to watch. It's fun to get swept up in. He's like, you know, cult of personality. It's literally in a song, like literally, like that's the type of person he is, and it's easy to get swept up into it, and easy to you know, to kind of love him for it, love him for his contradictions, love him for his hypocrisy. But you know, he's going to be the first one to come out now and say, like, you know, you shouldn't judge me. How dare you? You know, how dare you call me a hypocrite? He's a hypocrite. Like, he is. Like, he was a hypocrite the day he went back to WWE. Like that. You know, that was already like one stage, but I do think this is.
But there was reasonings kind of for that as well. Whether you think they were good enough or not, in the way it ended in AEW, they was like, all right, I'm going to stick it to you guys and go back in against this kind of type. You know what I mean? But this, you can't defend them. As you said, you genuinely can't defend them. It's just, he should be
held to account for his own words. Like, and again, held to account maybe is strong. You know, I'm not saying he committed the crime here. Fucking Saudi Arabia did, though. You know, and he's talked about it in the past. And it's like, it feels a bit like, you know, like when a Finn Balor with you know, wear like his Pride merch and stuff like that, and then they go to Saudi and it disappeared off the shelves for like 3 weeks, or disappeared at least off his body for 3 weeks, and then he was back on Raw the week after wearing it again. I expect that from Punk. Like, I expect him the week after to say something about it. He's going to go quiet now, probably. He's probably going to say nothing negative, because he's going there. I mean, self-preservation probably as well. And then the week after, he's going to be like, you know, yeah, and I'm going to donate my pay, and, you know, I'll give it to Sammy's Palestine charity or something like that. I'll figure it out, and it'll be something like that, because he's paying attention. He'll be seeing all the things people are saying, and he'll be, saying, how dare you say this about me? But like, all people are doing is taking his own words and presenting them back to him. And like, yeah, to me, like, I do think this is a worse step than just going back to the WWE and working. And I think if this was The Miz, if this was somebody lower down the totem pole, it's more forgivable. If CM Punk wanted to take a moral stand, CM Punk has all the power to take a moral stand now, especially now that he's comfortably back there and he's comfortably over and he's clearly friendly with Triple H and he's clearly got, say over everything he does, aside from the fact that he just seems to be perennially stuck with Seth Rollins. He had the power to say no. Like, this isn't just a man doing his job. This is a man willingly eating shit and willingly being, the corporate stooge that he would often say other people are. That is what he's become in 2025. Still got plenty of entertainment out of his promos and stuff like that and his work, but like, got to call a spade sometimes.
You're saying Seth Rollins is saying true words about CM Punk. The one I always go to, and it's, once again, we spoke about him on most of this, public enemy number one, it's Triple H back in that 2011 feud. There's like a contract signing. It always pops up on Twitter. There's a contract signing and Punk's also, Triple H just kills him off saying, you want all this change, you want all this new thing, but it's all to benefit you. As you say there, Benno, he's a master though. He is. He's been a master at building this like cult following, at building this thing that he's going against the establishment, he's going against this. And that's what I said today, and like I got a message through, but like, but comparing him to Papa Shango, it's like CM Punk's just as much as a wrestling character as Papa Shango is at the end of the day. They're all both full of bollocks. That's what it is. And that's sad to say as well, because he's a great pro wrestler. He is.
He's convincing, isn't he?
He's so fucking convincing. But then all this, but he's mastered that, like blending the kayfabe in with everything and the real life stuff with the story. He's blended all that in, and that's to his character. And as you say, that's to his, why people love him. And I can see why people get behind him and love him. But when he's doing stuff like this, and as you say, even going back to WWE, once again, I'll defend him with certain actions that caused him that. But this, you can't defend it. But as you say, he will try and come out and he will try and cover this up. He'll try and defend it. As you say, charity, whatever it may be. There will be a reaction by him because, as everyone says, he's the most online man, isn't he? Him and Triple H, that's why the best mates nowadays. They're just the most online men in the world. They're gonna see all this, and yeah, it's just wild. It's nuts, Ben. Monday Night Raw, mate. Monday Night Raw.
I mean, people are saying he's not punk rock. I mean, he is, isn't he? Like, this is punk rock in a lot of ways. I mean, maybe I shouldn't pick on punk rock. I should talk about something I know more about. Rage Against the Machine. You know what I mean? It's like there's an element of like, oh yeah, what they're saying is totally true. Kneecapped even now, like there's an element of what they're saying that's true. But there's always an element of performatism to it. I love Kneecapped. I'm glad they're raising awareness of all the things they're raising awareness of. But you've also got to remember that they're performing. Like by nature, they're performers. And by nature, Rage Against the Machine were performers, signed to a major label who, like, and everything that comes with that. Like, these people are gonna be hypocrites, and they are, at least on some level, gonna, as right as they can be, in these circumstances, use it to get themselves ahead. And that's kind of what you got to go in eyes open with anything, whether it's a wrestler, whether it's a band you like, whether it's anything else. Like, you can agree with the cause, you can agree with the person saying it, but yeah, you can't get yourself too lost in the sauce.
Yeah. But also, like I keep saying for the third time now, he went back to WWE because there was a reasoning. What is his reasoning here, or who's he fighting against with this, or who's he like trying to put one up?
He's trying to fucking frame it that way in the promo, wasn't he? He was trying so hard to be like Metzen and like, I'm not here for corporate. I'm not here for TKO. He fucking loves TKO. He loves making the two things he loves: being a hypocrite and making fucking money. He loves
David Zaslav back at HBO. He loves buddying up with all these executives. He loves it.
How many wrestling fans wouldn't know who David Zaslav was if it wasn't for CM Punk? Like, obviously the Max story, if we get time today, we're going to talk about it today. But like, a lot of wrestling fans know that name because CM Punk just wanted the name drop that like this fucking executive knew him. Like, this, he wants to be an employee, doesn't he? Corporate man Punk. He wants to be a part of it. He does. Like, it's always going to be self-serving when it's an industry like this, and it's a person like Punk. Unfortunately, it's disappointing, but it's true.
He always knows, like with the stories in AEW with his return, he always knows how to generate buzz, mostly for like, his reasoning and mostly for like getting him on side and getting him over. This one is probably the one where it ends with that, isn't it? So he's generating all the buzz for the wrong reasons here and all the headlines and stuff. So we'll see in the upcoming weeks if he comes on.
I think he's dead to Gareth. I think he's dead to Gareth because I think there's like
he was teaching him with Gareth for a while though, weren't he? He was.
Yeah, and you know, like I say again, you've got to like think about like whether you're how far you buy into these people and the things that they say. But I think that was a lot of his USP, a lot of his selling point was that no, everything around me is fake, I'm real. That was basically like he was the old fucking Ken Kennedy t-shirt, wasn't he? CM Punk. That's kind of what he was. We believed him when he was fighting against these big causes and stuff like that. He was just that touch more believable at doing that. Like this is the full completion into that part of his life is behind him, and now he's a performer. He performs on WWE television, like I suppose, as we keep saying, he always has been, but it's more, brazen than ever. Like that is just what he is. He goes there, he collects a check, he gives you very good promos still. I would still say he'll give you very good matches on his day still, probably not with John Cena in Saudi Arabia. Let's get into that in a minute. But yeah, it's CM Punk, the performer now, who's like I always said, motivated by grudge, probably, half doing this as well, like probably hating all the things people are saying, but also kind of in like some kind of warped way, enjoying that he's sticking it to people, that AEW, that it's winding people up that he's doing this and that he's not melting down and that he's not going against the company and he's proven he can be a company man. Like there'll be some warped way that he justifies this to himself and thinks he's doing the right thing and is still, as long as in his own head he thinks he's right, he's right. That's that.
But this is it, Ben. Like we're obviously on a much lower, end of the case here. Like you're saying, obviously a Carter and Omega, can they run it back? Can these run it back, Ben? Can these run it back one more time?
And not in Saudi Arabia because I didn't want to leave with it because I don't think it's the most important element of this. Like it's it's a horrible sports washing is awful, and we've as wrestling fans we've just lost track of it. I think sports fans have.
I was going to say sport fans.
Look at your Newcastle fan mates. Yeah. Look at a lot of sports that have been coloured by
this boxing.
Literal blood money. Punk was right the first time he tweeted it. Boxing, all of it. Like it's just become so normal, hasn't it? Now it's that you can't have the fight every time. Like I think we fought it the first few. We're hypocrites, I guess. We fought it very hard the first few Saudi pay-per-views. It was almost like we'll cover it, but if we have to, and now we cover them, we just cover them, and because they're wrestling shows, and eventually they get you through attrition, don't they, on this stuff? But again, that's the most important stuff, the least important stuff, but it's still, we're a wrestling podcast, so let's talk about it. The worst fucking place for this bloody match to happen, because, that segment on Raw was good. Cena was good. For once, Punk was good, even if I didn't believe the shit he was trying to sell. You might have Punk a couple of years ago and he could pull the wool over your eyes, but, it was a really good segment to set up a match that I think there are very few bright spots in, who Cena could face and get something out of him. And we saw one of those bright spots at Elimination Chamber. And it's great, it's happening. Where? In Saudi Arabia. And I know, and someone said that on the Discord today, and I'm glad they said it before you got a chance to. It's not quite the early Saudi shows where there's bored fellas, sat on couches in the front row. There are genuine fans, who go there, who've got nothing to do with any of this, the bad side of it, who will make noise for the people they make noise for, but it's still not the atmosphere you get if Punk and Cena ran it back at, like I say, Money in the Bank when the anniversary was right there for them to do, or in front of a rabid Chicago crowd, or in front of, just a rabid, more traditional WWE crowd that aren't going to, be a little bit more basic and just cheer the babies and boo the heels. If they even know that John Cena is a heel, I'm sure they do. But yeah, it's the worst place for it. And the crowd reaction and all of that is the thing that could have covered for the deficiencies. As much as the Money in the Bank Cena and Punk match and the other one that I know that you rate higher are 5-star matches, it's not because of it's because of the performances, obviously, but it's not a lot of the physical side of it. They're sloppy, both of them, and it's almost a positive sometimes.
That's why they gelled up.
But it's going to be worse now, isn't it? Because they're older. Yeah. That's going to be worse. Cena's head's clearly not where it was in the past. Punk, is older. The thing that was going to cover it was going to be the crowd reaction and all that, and you've lost that now. So it's just the worst place to do what could be a really fucking good thing. So that's just disappointing, isn't it? From an artistic point of view, it's just, really, the one interesting Cena match is happening under these circumstances.
I mean, the only positive I'll say is I just like it from the spin of like you say, and I agree. I thought the promo wasn't amazing, but it was good. I like the callbacks. I loved the callbacks from the pipe bomb. I loved the callbacks from where he was about the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox again. I loved all that type of stuff, which they were always going to lean back to with these two. But I like the dynamic of it is, you know, once again, if the fans are on board, it is a different set of circumstances now that Cena's the actual heel and Punk's the face. That's actually quite good and interesting to me, because even when they done it in 2012 and 13, which I do like them other matches, Night of Champions and Raw, it's like Punk's full on the champion, been the champion for ages, and Cena's still the man. Do you know what I mean? Like we've covered on some on Punk's title reign, Cena's still in the main event over him, so we still can't get one up on him at the time then. So in this case, yeah, but as you say, I suppose it was always going to be a one and done as well. But once again, like Punk's going to have to lose here, Ben. Like Punk's going to have to lose this, eat this defeat, and we're setting up our truth. So even from that, again, it's just bananas for me to even say that as a sentence in 2025, where Punk, as you said, you know, he had that little settling in period. He's actually fucking over now. Like he's genuinely a megastar with the WWE fans these days. Who he's settled in, and you're just going to throw it away and make him as like a stepladder for our truth. I just can't get my head around that. I mean, unless he wins, but I can't see that either. It's just a weird, as you say, scenario all around.
I mean, it's set up for our truth, and it's just set up for whatever else the year is to come with John Cena. Like, you know, he's clearly going to be losing to someone else. Don't really know who that person's going to be.
Cody.
Back to Cody, maybe, you know. Yeah. Do that sooner rather than later. I like that. Like, Punk was so good with his words, the way, like, he was like, yeah, you know, you didn't lose the bet to the best, which is Cody. Like, I thought it was really well done. Like, put Cody over, as he's someone he clearly likes and tries to put over. Like, if that's the end result, that's a little Easter egg you've got in there as well. But yeah, it's just like everyone's saying. It's disappointing. And it's not me being shocked that Punk is a hypocrite. It's not me being shocked. The day he went back to WWE, you know, we knew there and then he was somebody. And he's always been, you know, to a degree performative. Even the stuff when he's holding up very well-meaning signs at AEW shows and all of that stuff. He's a performer at the end of the day, so he's going to be performative. But yeah, from an art point of view, it's just the lesser version of it, and it just continues on there. We can't have good things with this John Cena run, mate. There's always got to be a problem. There's always got to be a negative, and it's another one.
Like Platt saying,
and Seth Rollins is involved.
Yeah,
that's
a positive. If Rollins cashes in on Cena, at least he can get Cena and R-Truth non-title way too, and then you can have Punk going against Seth. I don't know, Ben. Punk could win. I think Punk beats Cena. That's a good shot, and then Rollins cashes in on Punk. That's probably the best scenario, like on telly-wise, you can do there. You can have Cena Truth non-title, then you can have Punk and Seth at the title at SummerSlam. I suppose that makes sense. That's probably best, actually. But anyway.
Can we just pretend Seth doesn't exist and like delete his imaginary bloodline that he's got? That could be good instead. That was literally the worst. Apart from all of the Saudi stuff, the worst bit was literally Rollins coming out at the end. And oh my God, Punk's going to be fuming with him. He came back to WWE to go to Saudi Arabia and to feud with Seth Rollins for 4 full solid years. Like his entire contract, he's just going to be wrestling fucking Seth Rollins every fucking month, isn't he? It's just endless. Awful.
I mean, as I say, you get that, you do it at SummerSlam, but I've heard rumours and stuff that they're going to prolong it to like WrestleMania. That can't be that long. I mean, Triple H loves this snail-paced booking, but fuck me, we can't do it. Especially when we've seen it.
When nothing happens, innit?
Yeah, when we've seen it twice before. Fucking hell. But as you say, Ben, when he does these episodes where stuff happens, there's too much, and that's not a negative, though there is too much of it, though. People coming back, you know, shock announcements and title changes. There's loads happening at once, and then he'll do shows where literally, as you say, nothing happens. It's
pay-per-views where nothing happens, mate. What happened this weekend?
Yeah, we'll go into that in a bit, but he's definitely feeling it now, Triple H. I think you might see a bit of reactiveness, if that's the right word, from him over the next month or so. And as I say, he's got these thick and fast, these big events to get to SummerSlam as well. So hopefully, whether this or not, I just want to see him, as you say, put better shows on consistently. Yeah. So hopefully that's a positive. But yeah, we'll see.
There's good shows happening on the other channel, mate. You could watch it anytime. How's the Double or Nothing rewatch going?
I'll make that as a little bet there. Simon said in the chat there, if I don't like SummerSlam and I pack in with Triple H, I'll fully watch every Double or Nothing in order, Benno, just for you.
Can you just watch this year's one? That would be great. Really appreciate it, mate. Watch last week's 4-hour Dynamite instead. Yeah. That was better than fucking Money in the Bank. Well, that takes us into, unless you've got more on that, and we will cover more of it when we get into the pay-per-view, I think, at least in some ways. Would you like to talk about the other major story we've got to talk about today?
This is sweet here, Ben.
This was funny because people were on the Discord were making your arguments for you before you even got a chance to say them. And then other people were replying going, yeah, I agree with Matty. It's like, Matty hasn't said it yet. Let Matty make his own argument first. That's how predictable people think you might be, Matty. So maybe I'll surprised them. Maybe I'll surprise them even. Like, obviously, the other big story being, and I put it up as a joke image at the start, was main event Jey Uso after 0 main events since he won the world title and 2 title defenses. Got the
Saturday night's main event. He was main event at that. Come on, he was main event against Logan Paul.
Fair enough. Television.
Main event against Seth Rollins. Come on.
Okay, television again, but fair enough. Yeah, television main eventer, television main event Jey Uso. It's a longer nickname, isn't it? I understand it. You don't want to put it on t-shirts.
It is.
He lost his belt. Like, okay, firstly, we're going to get into it. Of course, I'm going to needle you. Of course, I'm going to wind you up. But let me just agree with you first.
Come on.
But I think I'll agree with you. Did either of us really see this coming? I think when the date got announced, when it was like, and this is Triple H again, it was like, hang on, there's so many shows coming up. Gunther wants his world title rematch, and it's on the Raw after Money in the Bank, and that was like before Saturday night's main event. So it was like, so if they're really doing this change, if they're really putting the belt on Gunther, are they really doing it on Raw rather than like just doing it on one of the pay-per-views or even Saturday night's main event? Okay, fair enough. And then, to be honest, I've forgotten about it the last few weeks because I just don't think it's been really front of mind because Jey Uso's been doing other stuff and it hasn't necessarily felt like he's at the tail end of a title run. Never mind the fact that it hasn't really felt like, as much as I love Gunther, and I think he shouldn't, I wouldn't have had him lose to Jey in the first place, but with the state of play today, putting the belt back on Gunther indicates you've got plans for Gunther. What are those plans? Like, what are those matches? Like, who are they against? Like, what's the need to do this for? Because I think it caught, in the end, while maybe a couple of weeks ago we were all thinking it might happen, I think it caught a lot of people by surprise that they did it in the first place. And I don't know, did you have any inkling it was happening before we get into the other sides of it? Like, yeah,
probably the last thing. Like, I thought he might lose the belt, but I thought it might be a Seth cash-in. I thought they were going to just go to that straight away, you know what I mean? And with them telling the story on TV, which I have liked, really, and it makes sense. It does protect Jey in a bit. That Gunther was like, you're spreading yourself too thin. I'm focused. You're doing this, that, and the other, helping everyone else. I like that side of it. But even the way they done it, like, I know, and it was, at the end, a choke out, and like, even the fans were gasping, weren't they? It still was quite a shock, even though, yeah, as I say, I thought he'd probably lose to a cash-in, Benno, but it is what it is, and if you want me to go straight into where we'll disagree,
here comes the AI Matty, as Sam was saying there in the chat. What do you want? Not every title thing has to be long.
No, and we've even said, and I even said, I'd be lucky if he got to SummerSlam as champion. Even I knew he could never be a long-term champion, Benno. Of course he couldn't. It told a good story. Well, I won't say a great story for me. And even the way he lost it, as I said, where he's not used to being the champion, he is still trying to fight every battle. He should be just focusing on the world title. I love that side, that Gunther when he sat down on Raw in the locker room. Yeah, I am watching Raw again, by the way. When he sat down last week in the locker room and just talked to him, it was great. It was, and it made total sense that this guy who's not used to being a singles and a world champion is just going to be carrying on doing everything to appease everyone and the fans and such. And his mates, whereas Gunther's the obviously complete opposite. Like, no, you should focus. This is why you're here. This is why I'm in the business, to be the world champion. Love that side, but to answer your question, no, I didn't expect Gunther to choke him out. But I think the only thing I'm thinking now is, like you're saying there, who's Gunther going up against? Is it going to be Sami Zayn in this King of the Ring kind of thing? That's the one you'd think they're going to go to. But what does happen to Jey now? I'm doing a Ben. What does happen to him now? He's going to always be over, of course he is. But are we going to have him going back down for the tag belts and stuff like that? It's like, as you say there, whether you love him or not, you could have got a few more months till SummerSlam out of it. You could have. And no one would have batted an eye with it. They wouldn't have been like this thing. But as you say, what's this big, great Gunther match at SummerSlam? Probably going to be a rematch of Sami Zayn, which we've seen before, though, at a WrestleMania where he's lost. So I know there's history there, and that's wrestling, and you can build into the story. But yeah, I'm with you there. Like, I don't know what this big, great match is. I'm sure it will be good, but it's just a little bit out of left field yet with Gunther. But yeah, I am sad, Ben. I am sad. I'm not going to lie.
It's almost like it was a bad story, isn't it? Bad story, badly told.
Oh, no. It wasn't a bad story at all.
What was the story? Like, you're saying there about him, like, falling to, like, oh, he's going to fall back to the tag division, or he's going to, like, go down the card?
Or maybe keep himself high. He did, Ben. He did. He's getting the biggest reactions on the show, isn't he? More than anybody.
He was getting the biggest reactions when he won the belt.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. The whole story was him actually, and even the way they told it with Gunther, which was a bit retconned, wasn't it? Where which is fine for me, but it still makes sense whether you think it's the long-term plan or not. It did, Ben. He couldn't beat him. Won the Royal Rumble. He chose Gunther because he thought he could beat him. Then his brother got battered, and that just brought it out of him. That brought the anger out of him, and he won on a night where anyone could beat anyone. And then when he spread himself too thin, the anger and all that is inside him, he's lost it. For me, that's a good story. I don't know what you want there. I think that's a good.
It's a story. It's not a good one.
I say, well, not everything.
It's like the WrestleMania match, isn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't a good story. Like they tried to tell a good story with the choke out stuff, and then didn't tell it. This match was better because they actually told that story in the match. It was Gunther who went over with it, and obviously Jey threatened to do his own, which was a callback to the Mania match. I think that was good building on something that didn't do that job well in the first place when it happened at WrestleMania. Like it was a better match this time round. It just also made you think, well, what was the point of the WrestleMania match? What was the point in telling that story with the choke? I'm all for short title runs, especially with someone like Jey Uso. Like, go watch title run is fine. This is short even for that. Like, this is unproductive even for that. Like, I've got to use your words against you, mate. You'd use mine. You said he got elevated. You said he became a main eventer. You said he went from a little tag team wrestler to being, big time world champion. He didn't, though, did he? Like, he didn't have a WrestleMania main event. He didn't main event any pay-per-views. He's the same wrestler coming out of it. He had upper mid-card belt for a while, and now he's just upper mid-card Jey Uso again. It's like you blinked and it didn't happen. It all existed for that moment at WrestleMania, and that's it. And I guess you can argue that's worth it. But
well, it is. Because it's not a new wrestler that you're trying to build. Once again, you're playing into his longevity on the roster. You're playing into this when you've got someone who you've told the story, that's a tag team wrestler. That's broke out from a storyline. Yeah.
So what's the lesson of the story? He's a tag team wrestler. Like, it's not really a story.
Has won a world title, but anything can happen.
He hasn't, though, hasn't he? Didn't.
Nobody did. Nobody did, though, didn't he? Didn't. You can say it wasn't the main belt. He still won the world heavyweight title.
What about called the world heavyweight title? Like, he called the main event Uso, but he's not a main eventer and he wasn't the world champion.
I'm not saying he's like he should be this long generational champion. I'm not. I'm saying for the story it told, it's fine that he, as I say, a little bit short for me. Could have got to SummerSlam. Of course he could have, like I said before. But what they done here,
he'd have to wrestle, wouldn't it? Be a problem.
But it makes sense as well, Benno, because he's not used to this. So he did lose to a better wrestler. And once again, we're putting it in the hands. We're saying about Gunther here, like the matches. Whoever he's in there, it's going to be good because he's lost it to a great champion and a great wrestler, hasn't he? So that's okay as well. So I think for what it is,
he was your wrestler of the year last year, to be fair, yeah.
Exactly, and he is great. He's great, Gunther. So that's fine in itself. But it is worth building up for the crowd reactions. Well, you've got to go with these people who are over, Benno. I'm all for that. Whether it was someone I like or not. Jey Uso, truth may be the exception to the rule there. But you go with someone who's organically over, who's genuinely got organically over through the storylines. Over the last 4 years.
They gave him a mid-card belt and he acted like a mid-carder. He had one tag team main event and now he's done.
Because not everyone can be on top for 25 years, can they? They can't. Not everyone can be. Not everyone does.
They're not the choices, are they? The choices aren't 2 months and 25 years, are they? As you agree, there's plenty in the middle.
Shawn Michaels didn't. These all didn't have long generational runs because it doesn't happen.
Shawn Michaels' run was like 8 months, was it not? 6 months at least.
People's minds that these champions, because they watch indies, are going to be champions for 2 years. Doesn't happen in the big.
What indies have champions for 2 years?
Oh, I'm sure someone in Ring of Honor was champ for a year or two.
I'm sure somebody was a champ for a week. Samoa Joe was, but like there was also short-term champions.
Yeah, that's the exception to the rule, though, Benno. That's why it's so shocking that happened. Short title reigns. You
could use Homicide against me, mate, but I'm not giving it to you because he did. He won the belt. He's the go-to. He's the go-to example. He had the belt. They gave him the moment just to have the moment, and then they moved it on to where the actual booking was going. But no one's pretending he had a generational world title run or he got moved up the card or it meant anything really. At the end of the day, it was a nice moment for him and it was always a gimmick. Main event Jey Uso was a gimmick. Winning the world title was a gimmick. Main event WrestleMania was a gimmick. It was just
if it's all a
nice gimmick.
It worked though because as I'll say, the people who are paying to go to these shows, the fans who are going.
Also, Gunther was champion. Sorry, you got away with that. Yeah, Gunther was champion for a year until he lost to Jey Uso. Sorry, you're not getting away with that.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Gunther deserves that because he's positioned and presented as a great wrestler, and he is a great wrestler. Jey Uso's a tag team wrestler that coming out,
and he's not a great wrestler.
it's coming out of a story. Like, yeah, we're blending story and real life. What do you want to talk here? Do you want to talk the thing we watch every week, or do you want to talk behind the scenes? Which one do you want to
both? Because he's bad at both.
No, he's not, because he's one of the best in the world. If we're talking about interacting with the fans and being over, isn't he? He's one of the best in any promotion in the world. That, as I keep saying to you, that's the hardest thing to do in wrestling.
I know he finds it hard when the bell rings every time.
Everyone can land
he struggles.
on the head. Everyone can jump and land on
Nobody
the
lands on their head these
and
days,
go
right?
through a table.
CTs,
Everyone can do a 450. Not everyone can get a stadium chanting for you and winning the world title. That's hard to do. You can count on probably you're both hands. Who cares whether you can do whatever in the ring? Have that connection first with the audience, and then that gets you through in wrestling.
And as Jey Uso has proven, it's hard to take that. It's even harder to take that and plug it into a belted wrestling match, because he hasn't been good at it for the most part. He was, to your argument, on Raw, like that moment when he eventually tapped out, and you felt like the kind of like the sadness and the air come out the balloon in the crowd. Like, you know, we talk about fan service with WWE right now, and it was like, oh god, there's another sad moment for them. Like, you could feel it. People were emotionally connected to it, and people were sad. And that goes to your point. I just wish Jey Uso was better at using that in his matches, especially his big ones. And I think the fact that they never gave him those big matches, that he didn't even have a middling run for a couple of months and a couple of decent challenges before going to somebody else, says everything, really. They just hit reset button and gone back to Gunther, and yeah, he's an overact. He's Jim Duggan, and that's fine. And Jim Duggan wasn't the world champion for a reason.
He's not Jim Duggan. He's more over than Jim Duggan ever was.
Jim Duggan was massively over. Massively over.
Yeah, but come on, I could go out there and chat USA.
Hard thing to do in the world. You can do all the 450s, but not everyone can say USA.
I mean, I love
not everyone can say
YEET. I love Duggan in Mid-South. I do. But in WWF, as I say, me or you could go out and chant USA and we get a stadium full of people or an arena full of people.
No, we wouldn't.
We wouldn't. No, we would, because it's the easiest thing to do in wrestling.
Could you go out and chant YEET and get a stadium full of people going?
No, it's different. He was over.
Why is that different? Because it's extra syllable.
He was organically over before all this, because of the stuff we watch every week. Now he just come in with the American flag, didn't he? It was the easy thing to do. Benno, fucking hell, come on, mate. But
Brian Danielson, was it easy to just say yes and do this? Is that why they gave it to Big Show, mate? Is that easy?
I always defend Brian. He got over when he fucking organically, when he had no right to, you know, and he was held down on commentary. Of course, we're not resetting over that. We're talking about Jey Uso.
To answer Walter, by the way, I'm not dragging Jim Duggan. I'm putting them both on the same level. It's impressive.
As I said,
but then the bell rings.
That's fair enough. I'm not going to sit here and say he's the greatest wrestler of all time, but as someone who's watched wrestling, if you think that's the be-all, end-all, Ben, then that's where we differ, and we always will do. I'd rather have someone who comes out there. Well, it is.
I put plenty of value in getting over, but we can also have the conversation about whether he delivers when the bell rings and he doesn't. And I think that's part of the reason why he's not going to have. He's never going to be a main eventer, and he's never going to be a world champion, and he hasn't been. Like, he hasn't.
No, that's fair enough. He's not an upper echelon.
That's fine. World needs people at that level.
Of course, that's what wrestling needs. People at this level. Not everyone can be this, as I say, long generational champions, be main eventers consistently, as I say. But it was an organic story told. That he rose his way, so I almost said rise then, rose his way through the ranks. And that was a great story.
But he didn't, though, did he?
But he did. But he did, because he was a tag team wrestler, and he ended up beating Big Bad Walter at WrestleMania. That's the end of it. That's, even if that's the old story that's been told in 4 years, and he doesn't do nothing else. For me, it'll be one of the greats seeing someone like that come up and do that. Remarkable. I love it. Love it.
I'll have to get your Final Battle 2006, mate. You'd love it. We'll do that instead of ROH versus CEW.
Don't do gyms, Ben. Come on.
Story.
Come on.
It wasn't a gym, mate. It was the Manhattan Center. That's
all right, then.
Your favorite wrestling promotion.
Come on.
All right, I think we've done. Is there any other angle anyone in the chat or anything you want to talk about when it comes to that match? Again, the work. I thought the work was a lot better than the WrestleMania match. They teased it out better. They told the story. They actually told the story in the ring
as well. Yeah, it was longer as well, wasn't it? It seemed like it was on quite long as well. But that's the thing, Ben. Like, I don't know. As you said there about Jey, if he has them matches where he's got to like kind of sell more, I don't know. Well, I'm not saying the selling's amazing, but he can play that better than being in control. And maybe it's the time he had to lose to do it, get the emotion and sympathy. That's the right time to do it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't disagree. It was the best singles Jey match, as Pat says here. I just think
I did like the chef one. I did like that. Yeah,
I think Jimmy's like just. Jimmy looks homeless at the minute. He's homeless, Jimmy. Like, you've just got to team them back up. I think they will eventually team back up. Like, they've just got to. I think Jey Uso, look, where I will concede for you, mate, and I know you, I know you hate it, but like I don't concede that he was made world champion. I don't concede that he was a main eventer. I do concede he got more over than I guess, but I think he got more over than you thought he would too. It took a lot.
Yeah, I'll say that. I mean, that's why, because he's one of the most over. Not this much. No, I knew he'd have a chance, but not like this. Fucking hell, Ben. We're talking like genuinely, like people can try and. People can
the inspiring story of headlining WrestleMania 39 to Kurt and Jack on WrestleMania 41. The Jey Uso story. What a story, mate.
As I said, people can try and dress it down because obviously they don't like him and the in-ring and such, and that's fine. But like, you can't deny how over he got, genuinely, in the overall scheme of wrestling. You can't. Like,
it's only you having that conversation.
No, because
it's easy one to have. Because if anyone says that, they're wrong. No one's saying
because
that.
you're trying to say it was easy to do that. You said that before.
No, I'm not. You're the one using easy and hard.
You said you could just say yeet, like I said about Jim Duggan. You said that less than 2 minutes ago.
I was just answering back to you, because I was saying, I don't agree that it's easy to just say USA and get over. So my point is, I'm challenging you. If you're saying one is easy, then surely the other one is. It wasn't me expressing that point.
It's like going especially in America. Come on, Ben. But anyway.
How about ho, mate? Do people chant ho just in like random places and that gets over too?
Well, maybe. Depends what places
you had you there. Cornered you there.
Anyway, let's move on.
2 points I was going to make, like not to do with the argument, but 2 points on like the booking of it. One, I think even you'd have to say, as much as you want to defend it, there's a way to do a short Jey Uso run, and this wasn't it. I don't think it was well done. And two, we kind of touched on it at the start, but genuinely, why is the belt back on Gunther? What's your thought? Where did he go? Is this purely for a Goldberg vanity match? Like, why did they need the belt for that?
It doesn't need it for that.
What's the thinking? Yeah.
Oh no, Ben. As I said there, I'm guessing obviously the King of the Ring winner, which will segue into Raw here again. Obviously, the King of the Ring winner is going to get the shot at SummerSlam. Whether it's obviously Raw or SmackDown is to be determined. But you've got to do Sami Zayn, haven't you? He's been hinting at it all year that he wants the world title, and
but then he was teasing stuff with him and Jey Uso. You were expecting him to turn.
I was expecting him to. I was genuinely was, and the way he keeps saying things and the way he just keeps looking and with the carrying cross stuff as well, trying to like be that devil on the shoulder to turn. I think that could happen still. I don't know, but as I say, it just seems all stuff's been through up in the air, as you say. Whether that was always the case with Gunther winning, tying in with the Punk, with R-Truth, it just seems a bit all over the shop. But if I'm going to predict like the King of the Ring, it's got to be once again Sami Zayn Gunther. We've seen it. We've seen it at WrestleMania once again.
I just don't see the bright idea that necessarily. If you were going to go with Jey Uso, at least try, and they didn't try.
If it's Goldberg,
I don't know what the reverse is.
We don't need the title for that. We don't, do we? If it's his retirement match, that's big enough as it is, isn't it? A retirement match for Goldberg. But with Uso,
it's some kind of minute way to get to Rollins, through Sami, as Pat says here. But then again, it would have made more like Rollins beating Jey Uso felt nailed on, didn't it? Especially with having the money in the bank.
I thought that's what happened. I thought that's what happened last night, Benno. I thought genuinely, and then Roman.
It's his belt, isn't it? It's not a real belt, and it's not a real main eventer, so it's perfect for Seth Rollins.
But I don't know. You can't have. I don't think you can have Sami and Rollins plat here, because that means Gunther's getting cashed in on. That doesn't make sense. It's just a bit screwy.
Well, there was a lot of booking that made no sense with Gunther when he had his world title. Let's hope he gets booked a little bit better this time. Work some actually good wrestlers, that might help. Doesn't act like a coward. Don't make him wear a dress or something like that. You could imagine. If they
I like Gunther when he changes it up a bit, Ben. That's where we disagree.
That's the problem. Anyway. I like him when he's successful and good and does the thing that got him over in every promotion he's ever worked in.
And he stayed
some
over.
Of the best matches of all time. And
he stayed over, hasn't he? But he stayed over, and that's why.
Credit to the performer.
No, of course, I love Gunther. I'm not discarding Gunther at all. I love him, and that's
you're
why.
Wrestler of the Year because you didn't want to pick anyone from AEW.
I didn't have a problem with the Pat McAfee stuff because people don't like it, but that's a testament to how good he is, because he went in there with Pat McAfee and had a fucking good match, and had a great match. I'd even say really good. So that's a testament to the guy and what he can do, and he does have to switch up a bit. Whether people like it or not, he's always going to be this big bad boss at the end of every SummerSlam and WrestleMania, maybe, but. I personally like to just see him switch up a little bit. That's just my taste.
Okay.
Come on.
You want it to
he
be
can't win every match, Benno, can he? Can't win every match now. Not wrestler can he? He can't.
No, they're not the two options again.
But it is though. You're trying to,
You can lose matches, but there's a way to do it. There's a way to book monsters, and there's an ineffective way to book monsters. But you would have been through so fans, so all different is good. It's not like it's just good or bad difference. All stories are good, all difference is good. Right. That's that kind of sorted. So done the Truth promo, done Saudi Punk we've done Yeet is dead. Anything else from Raw? We actually haven't talked Money in the Bank yet. We need to review that B show that happened this weekend. But anything else on Raw before while we're on it? Nikki Bella came back. She was bang average. King of the Ring is 4 ways instead of 3 ways. Triple H's reign of creative terror continues.
I think the Nikki Bella stuff, Liv Morgan saved the day, because Liv Morgan, and this is me again, listen to the old shows, like I've done such a U-turn on Liv Morgan. It's scary. She's actually great in the ring now and actually really good on the mic, and it's once again
genuinely. Nobody tune out, by the way. Sorry, we're not a Raw breakdown podcast. We've got Worlds to Collide to come soon. I'm excited to talk about that.
But Nikki Bella, like, was struggling, and that's obviously hasn't been there for a while, getting hardly reaction as well, even in a home state, was it they were saying it as, wasn't getting much of a reaction to Liv come out, you know, to be honest.
You seen the kickoff where Kai Cenat was at was it the BET Awards, and you know, Wale, like the rapper who like most people know as like the wrestling rapper, but you know, relatively big name in rap. But like, it's been a while since he's had stuff out. Like, Kai Cenat didn't recognize him, and his course the kickoff, and it's like Kai Cenat's like fucking 19 or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like he was 10. But like, wow, his big albums came out. Like, it's okay. It's okay. We get older and generations move on, and I think that's kind of true with Nikki Bella. I think, like, and we found that last time they brought her back. The Evolution show coming up. Pull the cord in case of emergency. They did it last time, and it's a bit lazy, isn't it, that they're going back to it again?
Liv's on that cusp because of the association with Dom and the story with Rhea. She's on that cusp now of like, she's getting like half cheered, half booed as well, Rhea. Liv. So you're putting the Bellas in there with someone who's going to go like that, as you say, with this fan base who haven't seen on for a while, thinking, well, we've got to cheer here, but we half like Liv. It's going to be interesting to see if that dynamic comes here. Because, as I say, Platt's nailed it. I think it's going to be the Bellas against Raquel and Liv for the tag belts at Evolution. So that'll be interesting for crowd reactions.
Sounds shit, doesn't it? I think they'd have done a better job building the women's division over the last decade. You know,
all right, we can all get off the high horse for the AEW benefit a minute. It's going
through we moan about it every week.
It's going through a good little patch, but you need to keep on being so putting the foot on stuff.
That's Grapple Spotlight. Always positive about the AEW women's division.
Just saying, fuck me. Had a few good matches, a few good houses, and it seems like
you should watch it.
The greatest of all time again. We'll see in a few months when everyone's crying again, won't we? That's what we'll see. But anyway,
why don't you watch it while it's good instead? While the Fed's back?
I will do. I'm going to watch All In. I'm watching. I can't wait for All In. Then 3 big matches.
Make your life better, mate. You watch some good wrestling. There's nothing wrong with it.
I don't need to. I don't need to, Ben. I'm still, as I say, I'm still there, giving it till SummerSlam. I'm still clinging on.
Well, it's Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar to watch, isn't there? So
exactly. There's
speaking of Kurt Angle, I need to talk about Chad Gable. So let's move on.
Go on.
I got to talk about his mad weekend, but I guess we start with Money in the Bank. Shade throwing at the true wrestling rapper Mega on as I left team says here. Or was it DJ Ron? He used to be the DJ.
LL Cool J, really. He was the official WWE the rapper. He was on a few SmackDowns, really. Back in the day,
Limp Bizkit, their favourite band, or is it just you? I think it's both.
Oh no, they're doing a new theme for Bron Breakker, aren't they? Limp Bizkit, it's still alive in 2025, Ben. So that should be a good. Look forward to hearing that one. That comes off.
Andy Ogden putting Liv over there, so top notch for the last year.
Unbelievable. Well, honestly, it's so good. I was not a fan at all. Was so down on her before she joined. You know, she turned and went with Dominic. But honestly, like,
they're a great double act. They're a great character. Like,
really fucking, like, in ring though, like, scary how much she's got. And I say, got that organic overness, which I'm all down for. So yeah, we'll see how she gets on. But also,
Alexa Bliss went to those classes.
Yeah, the King of the Ring, Ben. The matches, the 2 4-ways, as you say, with I think it's the year of the multi-person match where everyone's actually gonna, whether they love them or not, but they always are good. There's never really a bad one, is there? Whether you like them type of matches or not.
That's what Triple H is open for, because he's got no ideas left. But anyway,
I thought both multi-person matches were very fun and action-packed on Raw. I like them. Roxanne winning and Sami Zayn winning. Yeah, 2 probably are the right winners as well. And them brackets look wild as well. Just seeing like Cody in there interacting with a few wrestlers, obviously in a 4-way, Randy Orton and such, Malachi Black. It's just wild, the brackets and such like that. So interesting to see the semi-finals and final. I think that once again, this gives Triple H a bit of time, because I think last year it was well done as well, the King of the Ring. And I think this year it'll be well thought out. And it
allows him to not do anything else, because that's what this Money in the Bank was for me, because it's proper bare minimum Triple H's booking. Like, it is purely just... Because I went to the last 2 Money in the Bank, so I feel qualified to do a Money in the Bank analysis. But like, it's purely just, it's Money in the Bank. We do ladder matches on Money in the Bank, so I don't need to give you anything else. Like, and that's just the way he thinks now. Like, these are barely pay-per-views at this point. They're not premium. They're live events. They're LEs, mate. They're not PLEs. Like, obviously the happenings on Raw has overshadowed it, so I guess they get credit for that. I say things don't happen. Look, there's 3 things that happened on Raw.
Bailey coming back, I know that's on the long
that's a full.
But even that as well. So it's like you're paying that off from WrestleMania and going into a big match of SummerSlam. So a lot did happen.
But to balance it, nothing happened other than the one, the moment we talked about there. And I know you're going to want to talk about Bloodline Law, but a couple of ladder matches, no big marquee match. The main event was a complete wash. Like, what was this? Like, he's proper scrape. He's not past the level of acceptability, I think, for most of WWE, for their fans, or for just broadly, like just about. But he's hovering. He's proper hovering with these shows like that.
Creativity-wise,
there's a way to thread the needle and do lots of big shows around the same amount of time. But I think this isn't a problem unique to now when there's a lot going on. This was something he was doing all last year and arguably for parts of the year before as well. Like, I think it's Triple H's game plan is there for all to see. It's whatever he can get away with these pay-per-views, because really, like, just nothing happening show for me.
He's like, it's one of them. It's like you can. What's the old saying? I don't even know what the official saying is, but it's like when you're so hot, like you can coast a bit or put your feet up, but you shouldn't be putting your feet up. And he wasn't. That's what I'm saying. But he wasn't putting his feet up even when they were hot. He was producing and non-stop. But I think this politics side of it with The Rock, like last year he got away with it. I think this year has killed him, Ben. I think this year has genuinely flattened him, and I think he's given the fight up because, as you say, he hasn't been. People can say he's been like the slow bucket, but that was a positive for 2023 and 2023 and 2024. That was a real good positive, that you got good payoffs. You could see it coming. You got that anticipation. You got that bubbling up. You got that build. We're not really getting that this time round. Even I've said that. I've given it till SummerSlam. We're not getting that anticipation, that consistent storyline of building. Even the Seth group. Like, I was there the night after WrestleMania. I was like, fuck me, this, that, and the other. That's gone flat. Seeing his heel turn, we were
dressed like the Bloodline.
The night. Yeah. Why did, like, even me, Benno, like, the creativity has been zapped. Why are they in dark shades and black suits? How shit and stale is that? It's crap. It's so.
It's everyone wearing a Bullet Club t-shirt. Levels of stale, isn't it?
It's just like we've seen it a million. And once again, everything's been done in wrestling. Most things have, genuinely, but that's just so stale. It's beyond belief. Seeing his heel turn, we were ecstatic doing emergency podcasts. That just fell flat in its ass. That's been awful. He's had these things thinking like this, that, but I do think genuinely it's the politics side that's getting him. He's getting got to by stuff above him, and he's taking his eye off the ball, creativity-wise. That's the only thing I can think, because what people want to say about him, and I know people go back to his NXT, and that fell off a cliff, kind of. He has been good, and when he's focused on it, he's been really fucking good. Just, as I say, you mightn't agree with his pace he tells his stories at, but they made sense. They were always bubbling. You could see what was coming. You got good angles, Ben. You got good creative angles week to week. You're not getting that no more.
People make the argument, though, the stuff that you're talking about that you like, which is basically the Bloodline. I mean, is that not Paul Heyman?
I don't know, Ben.
We don't know, do we? I know people speculate about these things like we're in the room. We're not, but it seems plausible.
Yeah, it is. But then he did. I know, but it's not just when I look.
Judgment Day, I guess.
It's all that. There's Judgment Day. There's Cody's right. The finishing the story. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah, he got Cody right.
I mean, there's loads he was doing. Drew and Punk. What well thought out long term story. Great angles. That's what I mean. Really fucking good angles. Not just the promos matches. They were great angles. I'm sick. I'm the angles guy. Of course I am. I'm sick of seeing the same shit. I'm sick of seeing through an announce table. I'm sick of seeing a heel back and down and pounding out the ring. I just want something creative. I just want something. As I say, it can be something.
Spear through the guardrail.
30 years ago, because wrestling's cyclical and we've seen it all before for the most part. But give me something different with these characters. Like, give me something, like, and it's wild.
Let's go top down then, because I think we'll end with the Gable match, because I think it ties into Worlds Collide quite nicely. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about Cody and Jey Uso? The
moonsault was amazing. Honestly, the moonsault. Honest to God, I couldn't believe that saved the match for me. Like, well, it wasn't good, of course, but that moonsault was incredible. I don't even know, like, it saved.
You were wrong though. You did.
Yeah.
It was funny this because you were both wrong and right about this match. No, you thought it'd go long. It didn't. It just felt like it did. So I guess you were right.
Yeah.
I guess we're both right.
Good. Said that on the weekend.
It had no stakes either. It had nothing. If they genuinely, sorry to go back to it, but if they didn't have this Ron Killings thing fall in the laps, what were they going to do?
Yeah.
Like what would really have been a consequence and interest that could have been a finish for this that would have earned the time it had and would have ended the pay-per-view in at least a half decent manner? Like,
no, I just think it
Money in the Bank cash in. Don't know.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't have been the main event. I think it would have been just Seth winning. But that's what I'm saying, Ben. I think Cody would have just pinned Cena in the tag match, and then the next night, it still wouldn't have made sense. But he would have went to Punk. I don't know. I don't know. I can't be in Triple H's mind.
It's rough when Logan Paul's the second best wrestler in the match, isn't it? Anyway, I'm leaving. He was the first out. Bad stuff. I think, again, the R-Truth, speaking of your late and creative, like again, like R-Truth was a nice moment, but I woke up because obviously of the time difference. It's I don't even know what time it is now. 9:46 UK. Don't know what that makes it over here. It might be near 4. But like it was, I got up early and just saw my phone and got spoiled right away that R-Truth that came back. And I was like, honestly, I was a little bit excited. I was like, it's Ron Killings, and I'm actually half excited to like put the boot in. But I want to see how they did it. Like that'll be interesting. And the way they did it was just so fucking. You see it every month. I feel like every month you do this.
Yeah.
Mask on, pulls it off.
Yeah.
There goes my hair. I've still got hair. Pulls off a black hoodie, and that's that. Yeah, it was probably the least interesting way you could have done that.
They could have just said Simon saying, "Yeah, I've not tried watching the week." That'll never happen, Simon. Even if it's fucking, I don't know who, the worst 2 wrestlers you can think of on the roster in an Iron Man match every week on Raw.
You can watch it just when the other show is good. Watch that too. Nothing wrong with that, isn't it?
Whether it's good or not, I'm going to watch it.
You don't know because you don't watch it.
I'll give you a full breakdown of whether it's good or not. Go on, I will. Whatever. I'll watch it next week.
Right. Anyway, but either of these ladder matches good. Let's talk about them. Money in the Bank.
I thought the women's one was terrible. Not even bad. I thought it was terrible. But I thought the men's one was really good. I thought the women's one was abysmal, like genuinely abysmal. Like it
didn't have like that car crash like appeal last year's one did.
It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't. And I was sick to death of these false moments that they were trying to build in the match with no reaction. Every combination of the women had a stare off as if like it was the greatest. We're building to this, we're building to that. No, it was awful. Like genuinely, it was. I hated it. It was like I hated that match. But then the men's match.
It was. I mean, I don't think it was markedly worse than any Money in the Bank I've seen. It was just them going through the spots and
maybe I was expecting more.
Great.
Then with Vaquer in there, Rhea Ripley. I just expected maybe a bit more. And I was just. I
think Vaquer stood out.
Yeah, she always does. She is good, but with Naomi as well winning, I kind of think I said that on the weekend show. I could see her getting it with like it being. Getting the TV time at the minute and the built-in story you've got with Jade and Bianca, even though none of them are the champions, there's something you could tell there. If Jade gets a King of the Ring shot at SummerSlam, she could cash on her. If she wins, you could relive, go back to that. So I can kind of see Naomi, and Naomi has been one of the best things probably on SmackDown with that, because once again, that's actually a storyline that's ongoing. So it's actually okay, that one. So but the men's I loved. I know people I've seen being mixed on. I loved it. I thought that had a bit of danger, bit of stakes to it as well. I thought that was on edge a bit. I mean, that Chad Gable spot, ignoring the slingshot, how he gets into the ladder, which really just gloss over that. And Pentagon just standing there.
The fact that he was just straight up there, it was like impressive physically.
Unbelievable. He was an inch away from breaking his neck. He could have landed on his head on the ladder. That was so.
I'm surprised that ladder was left. I thought that when they did the spot, why was the ladder still in the ring?
Yeah.
Like, I bet you somebody was on the headset going, just pull. Like, there's no reason for it to be there. Just pull it out.
The ref could just move, and no one would say nothing. The ref could have just moved.
No.
Even the safety of the competitors or whatever the ref could want to say. You could.
Felt like a real oversight, though. Sorry, I said we'd save Chad Gable. I meant Dominic Mysterio, but we'll talk more Chad Gable in a bit. Yeah, the fucking weekend. He looked like he was having the time of his life.
Time of his life in this one, but obviously the bloodline law, Benno, and it's one of them. Like, I've seen people saying that that Jacob's turned heel. No, he hasn't, but the way he done it, you could have done, couldn't he? He destroyed Solo, like, absolutely.
I think that was very, it's my gimmick to have a go at bloodline stuff. I think mainly when you're here. When you're not here, I say nice things about it all the time.
I know you do.
I want to like I've been in support of this program. I feel like they should have done it at WrestleMania and got it over with. I can't believe they dragged it out this long. For you, that's been good TV. For me, it's been painful. I thought the execution of this was awful. I think they dragged it out and like to the point it made no sense because like it made, at least initially when you've got Jacob and JC Mateo, whatever he's called, come out to even the odds. You know, that kind of made sense. And doing the face-off with Seth Rollins' lookalike group, that made sense too as well to kind of do, and that was a moment. But it only made sense in itself. It didn't make sense like 10 seconds later when it turned out Jacob wasn't actually there to defend the honor of the bloodline. He was there to cost Solo. So why did he spend all of that time helping Solo get up and get him in the ring? And I actually thought Solo was quite entertaining.
He's hilarious, Benno.
Record this, mate, and play it back to yourself. Like him doing like Penta's dance and stuff like that was funny. And I actually thought the overall took too long. I don't think it was well executed. But the little parts where he was kind of soaking it in and taking his time and telling him to set the ladder up that way, turn it this way, take your time, and just enjoying it too much. I think that was supposed to be the last little thing that like ticked Jacob off, but I just don't think it played out as well as he thought it would. But I think in isolation, the Jacob stuff was the Solo stuff was entertaining. It was just it was. I don't know. I think everyone was waiting for him to do that. I hate you, Solo. Like everyone's waiting for you to say I hate you, Benno. Like, well, maybe it'll be the closing line to this podcast. But like I think there were better ways to execute the point that I think you were hoping would come in. I wonder if you're going to say that.
100%. I mean, it was way played out, 100%, so too long. And as I say, like, he could have just done one or the other. Like, he absolutely destroyed him after it. And I know that's the point. He's meant to be a killer, and he's been like, he overheard him on SmackDown. But even that was kind of weak, where it's like a bit rushy. Once again, like, for me, you build this up better and more until SummerSlam, whether you, as you just said, you might like to see it TV-wise, but I want to see better stuff until SummerSlam. Would have liked to have seen this get dragged out and have a bit more tension. I know we've had it, but it doesn't feel like we've had that oomph. And like, I know it's hard to do where Jacob's got to be the one to turn. I like, you've seen like a Batista turn, obviously, face having against Triple H. There's, you know, you can do that. But like, it's got to be like, and once again, you're going to say great, but it's Solo. It's like, he's literally always going to get done in. For me, you have to have them destroying Jacob for once, or you know what I mean? I can't see that happening ever, though. So it's like, you've killed Solo, and I love Jacob and want to see what he does. He's going to blitz through him. And then we forgot about it, where I think, if you're going to do that anyway, just at least get a bit more oomph out of it and a bit more TV out of it before you eventually do that. So it's, I'm a bit...
I still think Garrett's right about Jacob. And I know it gets your back up, because I don't think Garrett is saying that Jacob's a no hope or there's not something special about him.
He never main event WrestleMania, you know, nothing did he? But that to be fair, in Triple H,
not with the way they're handling him.
That's not because it's
he's got clear like potential for all the world to see. He's just a bit magpie. He's so many different things at once. And now we've had another one, babyface. Like he's another thing. Like they just need to zero in on like what he is exactly. Maybe we'll get it with this babyface run, but I don't know. On the one hand, it feels like they dragged it out too long and they could have done this turn earlier, but it also feels like it's like, oh fuck, now he's a babyface already, you know?
That's what I mean.
Where'd you go then? Where'd you go next? Like, what's after that?
Like, they've been, obviously, because I'm SmackDown connoisseur, they've been having them couple of faces.
Yeah, the only one who can sit through. There's your third member. We've done two members of their 3 Live crew. There's Road Dogg, there's your third one. That's why this team fits today.
Nobody's had them big stare downs and convos with Damian Priest, so that looks like that's going to be the big match. But yeah, you've just turned on Solo, so unless they're going to do that on SmackDown, fuck me. I mean, unless you do one at Night of Champions and then do one obviously at SummerSlam with Priest and Fatu. But as I say, it's just a bit. Once again, that's where, whether people agree with me or not, on the bloodline to this day, still even the remnants of the bloodline, I still wanted that to be like episodic good TV, and it's had its moments with Solo and Jacob. It has, but then it's like they thought, like, we're gonna do it, we're gonna push back, we're gonna push back, and then we've got to this eventually. It could have been done a million better ways, Benno, if we're being totally honest. Yeah, I agree there, but
all season 4, mate.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I didn't mind.
Well, you think that was good too, so.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's just a lot. There's just a lot up in the air, Ben, at the minute. As I say, Destination SummerSlam. That's what we're going to call each time I'm on these fucking shows. We'll see how we get on.
All right. Last 2 matches, we'll knock them out together. Becky Lynch, Larry Valkyrie.
Oh, brilliant. No, really good, Ben. I mean, like, probably obviously the best wrestling match, one of the best matches of the weekend. For sure.
I never want to see either of them cut a promo again, but the match was good.
No, the matches have been really good. And obviously, you have the trilogy at Evolution, but with Bayley coming back, that might throw a spanner in the works. You might get a freeway now there. I don't know, but yeah, really good wrestling. Just everything, just from the early bit of chain wrestling to then like the finishes on the floor, and obviously Becky getting. I like they added like old school wrestling side of it as well. Whatever you say about Becky Lynch, and once again another U-turn wrestler for me. She seems like she's got creative control. She knows what she wants to do, but it's always presented as wrestling as well, with that old school little touch, like you got to raise my hand after the decision. Love any little stipulation like that. Proper. So I love it. I like it though, Ben. It's wrestling old school 101. I like it, and she was always going to get a comeuppance when she was egging it on and milking it too much. So big thumbs up for me.
Plays into the Bailey thing.
Yeah, wrestling.
They actually remembered some of their own booking with the Bailey thing.
Yeah,
oh yeah, she attacked her. She can make revenge. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought the match was good. I don't repeat what you said, but Lyra Valkyria has been a surprise.
Really good. But once again, it's like it's all right being in there with can't believe I'm saying it, with a Becky Lynch. Let's see how she hangs. Hopefully, this gets her over enough to when she moves on to other feuds, and let's see if she stays over or not.
Well, as our into the next show, we're going to talk about, as I keep mentioning, because I'm dying to talk about it. We had the Octagon Junior versus Dominic Mysterio on the show. I don't know. Do we talk about the match first? Do we talk about the setup the night before? WWE is Lucha now. There isn't much to say about the match, really, is there? I did think Octagon was a little bit. He was a bit out of his depth, and Dom's great. That's kind of my take on the match. It wasn't up to much though, was it? It was like 2.5 stars. Glad they had an extra match because these shows don't have enough matches. An extra one would make sense, especially one like that you can throw in last minute. It just tells you outside of Vikingo they don't believe in anybody else on this AAA roster because the guy they went with was
Mr. Iguana. Come on.
I think he got his TV time, didn't he? Bloody hell. He's in here somewhere. He's hiding. But Eddie Guerrero, obviously a tribute, and talking about the original When Worlds Collide that we reviewed over on the Patreon. I guess there's the tie in there as well, isn't there? And was, I guess, kind of touching to see Dominic take the belt to Eddie's grave, didn't he? So there you go. There's your tie-in, but that's really all that existed for. But it existed to sell, and we had in the front row, we had a Conan sighting on a WWE pay-per-view. He struggled to get up to his feet, just like he struggled to talk on Worlds Collide that took place the night before. I feel like we've got matches to talk about, but I think the stars of the show are either the commentary team or the start of the show with Sean Holter and the Roldans and Rey Mysterio opening. What did he say? That WWE is now the stamp of authenticity on Lucha Libre. I mean, not based on this show. I had a good time watching it, but absolutely fucking not. True authentic Lucha is bloody brawling, and it's a shit show Triple Manias that we're used to watching, and plus actually good CMLL shows. I believe, but this was none of those, but it was certainly something. Where do you want to start on these aspects of the presentation?
I mean, that first opening ceremony, Ben, just Shawn Michaels. I just couldn't. You knew Triple H was going to be.
Have you seen the memes where people have been taking what's your name, Penny, and swapping the wigs around? Oh my god, where were there was only one in, wasn't there? Where was the other end?
Yeah, mate. I mean, it's just surreal though, whether, like, as I say, whether people are laughing or people that can't believe it. It's just surreal though, isn't it? Like, as I say, you knew Triple H would get his kipper in there, but Shawn Michaels just standing there like I was cracking up. I was genuinely cracking up. Why was he there?
He was like literally during like he looked like he was trying not to crack up during the what you call it, the national anthems. It was just honestly just. What a completely bizarre world we live in, where this is like the marrying of it was like watching like a really bad wedding, where like the two sides of the family have had to come together, and the different granddads are all in the same. They've never met before, but they're all in the same photo. That's what it felt like. It was fucking weird.
It was, but as I say, Ben, if we want to talk like the show itself and the presentation with Conan, especially, like, it was. They made friends now, haven't they? The best friends now. I've seen the two tweets today. Like, and say what you want about Corey Graves. I thought he was fucking good, Benno. I thought he was really good.
If you're WWE, he was good. He did the job that the WWE would want him to do.
Basically done on his own.
I wouldn't go as far as saying he was good.
No, he was. He basically done that pay-per-view on his own, and that's stuff many people like.
Some would argue Conan did it on his own, but depends on it. Sorry, there's that picture. I had to find it on screen. She looks like she's like a crime boss, doesn't she? She looks like she should be running like in Narcos. She'd be in that as like the evil woman who's behind it all. Like, does she know she hasn't got any expressions? Does she know she's like Diana Hart in 1996? Like. There's other ways to pull your face, Just would be glad she's not stood there with two ends. But Sean looked like he was cracking up the entire time.
Yeah, course. Typical Sean there.
Did you see the picture, by the way, of Sean and Latin Lover together? Like, fucking hell, Latin Lover's aged a hell of a lot better than Sean has. Like, he looked great.
Sexy boy Shawn Michaels, boy toy.
In '96, us Fed fans back in the day were told that Latin Lover was the Mexican Shawn Michaels and he was coming to take the WWE by storm. He looks like he could be Shawn Michaels' fucking son at this point. He looked great, that bloke. Looked cracking.
He really, really did as well. But I don't know. I loved the main event though, Benno. I thought that was fucking wild. Like Chad Gable, as you said, all weekend. Like he had the time of his life. Even continuing on Raw with that nice little match against AJ Styles. It was like just topped off for him. Nearly fucking dying off that Styles clash. Good job he took like at last minute, but he was just going out there to just prove I don't know what. Like he was. I haven't seen Vikingo for a while, and he looked a bit ropey a couple of times, especially that weird botch where they all stopped in the corner.
His legs aren't there.
Chad Gable, God bless him though, mate. He was fucking outstanding. He was really fucking good.
I'm going back to the commentary because I've got more to say about that in a minute. I'm not letting that slip. But while we've moved on to this match, I will talk about it. I think Vikingo's washed. I think that's clear. But I don't think he's so washed that he can't fit in a WWE ecosystem and do his big spots and get over. Because like literally part of the fun, and it ties into the commentary I did watching the show, was one following it along with Discord and kind of half laughing at it, half kind of having a good time, was following along Twitter and following on like WWE fans seeing Vikingo for the first time, and they were reacting like we did when we first saw the GIF 6 years ago, whenever it was, like to, you know, spots that he doesn't do as well now that he used to do, but they've never seen before. And if it happened on Collision, they'd say it was not wrestling and they were spot monkeys and it has no place in our business, but it's happened on a WWE show, so it's okay now. But he was genuinely like, he's a marvel, isn't he? Like you watch him, you can ignore that weird spot where he got stuck in the corner for like 2 minutes. Yeah. Like what was going on? I don't know what was going on. Like maybe his knees went out under him and he couldn't get himself out again. It just looked embarrassing because Gable was like holding the match together. Gable's another one where he just comes so. He definitely steps over the line of being a Kurt Angle tribute act. Like he's got a lot of the positives of being a Kurt Angle tribute. I guess it's old school wrestling, isn't it? It's, you know, Hulk Hogan wore his tributes on his arm. Ric Flair did. Like there's something to that, isn't there? Like LA Knight does. I almost said LA Austin, and that's a very different wrestler. That Cody is basically John Cena in a lot of ways. I think that's okay, but I think Chad Gable proper goes over the line with the Kurt Angle tribute, and this felt like a Kurt Angle match for good and bad. For bad in that it was, really, it was just. Yeah, people would say that because like they pop for the spots, and it's a Vikingo match, so I'm not complaining. But it didn't really have the connective tissue for me. It was just big spot, not much happened. Big spot, not much happened. Maybe that's the limit of what you can do with Vikingo. But I will say as a positive, it was endearing to see Chad Gable, someone who's a WWE system guy for the most part, have to work in that way, in a spotty way, in a different way to the way he does, to do big spots where, like say, the table bumps and some of the stuff he was taking in this match, some of the stuff he was delivering in this match, the powerbomb off the top, all of that stuff, it was like all stuff that like he isn't doing on Raw every week, is he? And he can't do, and you could tell he was lapping it up getting to do it. So I don't think it necessarily gave you a 5-star match. I think it was a little bit overpraised, if anything, but I can. There were things to love about it, and it was, Chad Gable's performance was the most part. And Vikingo, maybe I should give him credit. I don't know where the selling starts and where his knee's gone. I don't know which of the two it was, but it looked like a mix through that match, and that's kind of where he is at this point.
But at the same time, I know the botch was obviously that obvious, but I like the way sometimes, Ben, I know it's, you're going spot to spot, but I know it was a bit gnarly though. Wrestling shouldn't look like ballet or a dance. It shouldn't look like you're getting on. You know what I mean? It looked like a bit of a struggle.
Make their arguments. Yeah. A lot of people who'd be having a go at this show, including me, would say this was WWE produce and it was nothing like proper lucha. At least this match was something you wouldn't get on WWE TV.
You would not get this. And as I say, some of the bumps look gnarly like that. We've seen destroyers on the apron. We've seen Vikingo. We've seen all that. But fuck me, it looked like his shoulder and the moonsault off the top through the table was something that I haven't seen very rarely. That actually it hit anyway and not be missed. Obviously the reverse poison rana off the top. The bump he took off that, he was just going all out, making this, as you say, taking a full advantage of getting in this spot and opportunity. And fair play to him, lad. He had the time was but he was bordering the line of near fucking injured himself on some of them bumps, and I'm sure he was banged up. He had the tape on Raw. I don't think that was just for on in the show selling purposes. No. I think that was legit for sure. So hats off. I loved it. Just loved the main event. It just was a bit dicey, a bit dangerous, you know what I mean? And yeah. I like it for that. But the others, the other stuff.
Early TNA Kurt Angle is what it was in a lot of ways, for good and for bad. You know, like the tribute just goes that far. Sorry, before we move on, I do need to rewind to the commentary because like this match would have been even better if Conan could have told more stories about people's dead granddads. Like if he could have just shoehorned in that in somewhere. Like I was laughing me head off at Conan. Like I don't actually think he was good. I'm not going to defend him because I think that was another point. Like. Following along on Twitter, if you know Conan and you listen to his podcast like I have, and you've been like Conan again, 3 Live Crew, he's the third one. We've been, following Conan for so many years. He's gigantically problematic. He's said things I'd never defend. He's done things I'd never defend. There's some charm to him, though, still there. That's still beneath all of that. That's probably problematic in itself, but like it is true. But I think you need to come with that knowledge and that weight of having heard him before and know what he's like in his podcast and what he's like as a person, because most of the Fed fans I saw on Twitter tweeting about it were just like seeing him for the first time, hearing him for the first time and being like, why is what it sounds like granddad just take a load of edibles, and it's like, that's Conan. Absolutely, that's what he did. And what I found entertaining about it is probably why, as you said, he was bad at the job, because he wasn't doing any of his cues. He was going on way too long with a lot of his stories. It was chalk and cheese in Corey. I don't think Corey was great for my ears, but if I'm WWE and the things I want to get across and the messaging and the way they do things, the way they run their playbook, as Triple H has said, they needed him there, because otherwise like the show was going off the rails and would have been entertaining for knobheads like me, but probably wasn't what they would want.
No, but Conan, I'm not denying, like, obviously the passion and the love and the heritage. Of course, he's got all that across great, as you say, and I'm not expecting him to like be back and forth with Grace, but you can hardly hear him. Number one, his mic needed to turn up, or he didn't have the headset on properly. And then, I like the way at the start, one of the shouts was something about like, look at that guy, he's something getting booed, and he's still more over than you. Pure hating on Corey Graves. I'm thinking like, are these getting along? That was
podcast Conan. That he does that to Disco. He does that to everyone. Yeah. Have you seen my podcast? Yeah.
But then at the end, and obviously today,
do you want to go faster?
It was like, it looked like they had a good bond there over that, and it was. And as I say, he wasn't good, but
they won't bring him back.
The passion,
He's not coming back.
And you needed someone. And as I say, to give you that bit of history when you could hear him about obviously the promotion and the stories and the years gone by. So it was good on that.
Should have used Tanay as an option. Maybe he's been out the game too long. But if Borash wasn't apparently putting this whole show together and doing all the work,
he should have been on the mic. He was a good commentator, Borash. I like Borash a lot on commentary,
but for my personal entertainment, I'd rather Conan just did this.
Oh no, of course, man, he was funny. He was funny. Can't deny that. Like,
I'll give you this one for free. I've had a message here from a Michael Hamflet who says the next time he talks to me, he's going to tell me all the reasons I'm wrong about Jey Uso and why you're right. So there you go. There's a win for you, Matty. Well done.
Mate, he should be my, like you get a script off the agents backstage on Raw. Give me the script, Michael, and I can read it verbatim with a look face like that into the camera. But thank you, my friend. Always got me back, as always. But,
stabbed in the front rather than the back by my Patreon. I'll take that. That's all right. You stabbed me in the back and the front. But go on.
I once again, I'm no obviously lucha libre expert, and for some of the stuff I've seen over the years, like I don't know, I'm not. It's just not for me, really. It does seem, and I know there's people are going to say who do like it, there's an art to it, and of course they will be, that I probably don't understand, or haven't watched enough to get and understand. But it does seem like a lot of, the same stuff all the time. And I get the characters and the nice, colourful characters. I get all that. Even the Mr. Iguana, it's not for me. But I can see why.
Who's it for? It's so low, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's marketable, though. It is, Ben. The amount of merch that man will fucking sell, it'll be scary. And I'm not going to buy a lot of it, but it'll be scary. I'm telling you, it'll be fucking scary.
But it doesn't have to be good. He just has to be a lizard. Like that's it, isn't it? Anyone could have been marketing.
That's the world.
Like the makeup's good.
That's the world we live in, of commercial people and things, isn't it?
The makeup's bad, the dollar's bad, and he's bad at delivering it. Like I don't.
How many dollars would that sell? Seriously.
I know, but I guess so. Yeah, but just shows every wrestler on this card is wrong. They should have got a fucking lizard. Would have sorted them out.
But it seemed repetitive to me, the action, and it's only so much you can do. I don't know, but people might have American wrestling, but we're sick of seeing fucking, I don't know what.
I don't think. I don't know. Really, this Main events aside, I mean, it was just WWE style matches. It was lucha guys and girls trying to do lucha matches or trying to do WWE version of lucha, and like that's why Rey Mysterio's comments at the start were like, Conan said it as well. Like he said on one of the video packages, one of the many video packages. You know, they're not coming here to change lucha. They're going to keep it as it is. No, they're absolutely here to change lucha. And like, I think the best example of that was the women's one. Like Chick Tormentor and what's her name, Daly's place, Dallas. She was fucking not ready for even this level of NXT WWE. Like
Tormentor was looked alright, but that Dallas didn't. I think Tormentor had something about it though for me. That was me personally. I think she looked okay, but Dallas, no.
Lola Vice looked like a grizzled veteran in there with them, like, and they're the older ones. Like Stephanie back here had a job to do to hold that one together, and that was exactly it. Was them trying to do WWE. It was trying. They're all Conan literally said that on commentary. They all want like the attention of TKO, and they all want to get signed properly. So they're going to go out there and do what they're told. Like Ethan Page trying to keep that Laredo Kid, Javon Evans, Ray Phoenix match together. That would have been better if it was on a proper AAA card where it was just anything goes. Like it was too Fed style for me. Didn't really work. Didn't get anybody over. Felt the same way about the other 6-man with Psycho Clown in it, where he was pretty nondescript. So I think it's the opposite problem for me. It's not that. I mean, lucha can be bad, but I'd rather it be bad than be itself than be
offensive than this,
bang average. And what a lot of these matches were. Again, I had a good time watching it. I laughed along, you know, at it and with it at times, but they were pretty soulless, these matches.
But as I said on weekend show, it was that type of show where I could myself sit back and just see what I got fed to me from this, you know what I mean? Because it was just one of them wild shows that's actually happening, and you could sit back with your feet up and enjoy. And honestly, I think like you had a good time with it, especially that main event. And the other matches, yeah, as I say, there was nothing to most of them really. Even that 4-way did let me down. A couple of good spots here and there, but as you say, maybe with it being the WWE style lucha. But
you were all too scared to step out of turn, weren't they? It was only Chad Gable showed the most bollocks because he's got a job.
But that's what I mean. It can be death-defying in that sense, but there's never no transitions or nothing in between anyway. In lucha, is it? It is literally spots I've seen anyway. Maybe I'm not disregarding the fucking whole.
It's not true of all lucha, but I mean, Conan would say that. I've heard him say that on his podcast, and if he can say it, then I think you can say it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm not being too down on it, but it just wasn't for me really. Even in the WWE style as well. Yeah, it just wasn't for me overall. It was a bit samey, and I say that's
felt very NXT UK. I didn't like the set either. I didn't like the dark lighting. I didn't like the not going with the. I know AAA haven't used the 6-sided ring for a while. I think people miss that because they don't watch AAA. But like, because they're saying they're not JP. He's the one person who does.
Yeah.
But like those little bits of difference would have changed it. Instead, it was a bit soulless and a bit NXT UK.
Yeah, as I say, main event though, did big thumbs up for the main event. I did really enjoy that. I genuinely did enjoy that. But
be interested to see what Triple Mania looks like. Or one of the Triple Manias, which they did try and put over on this show as Angel Garza and Humberto are going to be doing that show, Matty. Taking on Fastaro Sanson, Psycho Clown, and Pagano, and Nick and Ryan, the Nemeths, are going to be on this show, mate, working with WWE talent. Excited for that.
I don't know, mate. The Nemeths, no, Ben. I was this close to them in Vegas, and I still didn't go over to them. Literally standing right next to them at the table in Vegas.
There's no more WWE wrestler than Nick Nemeth, mate.
I know, but it's Ryan.
It's only the Miz and Kofi Kingston past that, isn't it?
But it's Ryan Nemeth, though, Ben, isn't it?
Crap, innit? Well, the other thing that got announced this weekend across if we're getting into the news, and there's nothing more on the in-ring of the shows, WWE did confirm Jordan Money in the Bank. There you go, there was some news. They're definitely coming to Las Vegas in WrestleMania 42. It is official. What do you think about the dates, 18th to 19th? Any chance of April 2026? Any chance you can make it? That makes it a week later, doesn't it, than what was announced for the New Orleans Mania, to make it even worse. So if you'd book your flights, it's not even like you can just change the destination. You got to cancel the whole thing and rebook again. You'd be furious. If that was you, mate, you'd be furious.
I'm furious that they've changed it, because I mean, New Orleans was genuinely a shout on the table to go, but I've done Vegas. I'm not going back to Vegas now. I've been on its own, and I've been for WrestleMania, unless the card's remarkable and then it's too late maybe to book something. I don't know. I'm honestly thinking Survivor Series in San Diego, and obviously if the Rumble was in America anywhere, I'd be 100% going to Royal Rumble, because that's in Saudi now. So Survivor Series, SummerSlam's too close. Survivor Series is on my radar to go in San Diego, so we'll see.
Consider going to All In. It's in Texas, mate, coming up.
I've already been to 2 All-Ins, Ben. I think they've had enough for AEW.
Well, as I mentioned in the pre-show on Sunday, mate, coincidentally, there's the house show in Texas down the road the week after. So you get both in, you know. That'll help sell some tickets rather than do what they're hoping it will do, than hair tickets.
Now you've told me that, Ben. Fucking hell.
The fucking cunts, aren't they? Like, it's so blatant. It's so blatant.
No, I am all, even if it's not just because it's WWE, I'm all for, like, rivalry or, like, competitiveness in whatever it is. But even I'm getting sick of seeing these stories coming out that they're fucking trying to hijack everything. And that's me saying that as well. It's like, fuck me. But that just shows, once again, like, maybe listeners can hear me, the tide will never turn fully as in, like, you know, money and attendance and ratings and all that. That'll never turn. But the tide's going back because, like, I think it was you, and I hate Ben. You don't understand. You can write the words hate in bold letters.
I hate red. You, Benno. Here it comes.
No, underline it in fucking red and gold and silver so it stands out. I hate giving you credit. I do. I fucking hate it. Right?
Why?
No, and that just shows you how much you hate it. And if it is you, I'll give you the most credit in the world. I think.
Well, as one of your shoot friends, I appreciate that, mate.
No, yeah. AEW, like it was for us Fed fans, you're getting, you know, you're getting delivered to you at what you want at the minute. We are in, but not all of it. We're getting half of it, Benno. We're not getting what we want. You know what I mean? We're not getting superseded to. We're not getting everything what we've had. And it feels like the tide's turning in that regard. That's the regard that I fucking... But that's the bubble that we're in. I'm in. So I've got to live with it. And I've got to take it at the same time. It's all part of it. No,
you don't have to pick a side. You could just watch the good wrestling.
No, I'm not saying... No.
If AEW was bad and New Japan was good, I'd be watching New Japan.
Yeah, no, fair play. And I will. I'm going to start... Honestly, I will. It's not about that. Obviously, I'm always...
When WWE's good, I'm happy to watch it.
Yeah, of course. I'm always going to be WWE, but I'm just saying that tide's turning in that regard. And you're the one who said it, and you nailed it, man. You nailed it. The shift is gone back the other way in that way, yeah. So, yeah.
So I'm a work friend or a shoot friend? I need to know.
Always a shoot one, Benno.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Right, moving on from there. What else we got?
No, you have to say it.
Have I got my bike back? Or anyway,
no, you'll never have that back until I hear you say something that you don't say.
Just make sure you tell me when it comes back.
I will.
Thank you.
Go on.
Thank you. Well, the only other news that's relevant there from WWE, and I don't think we're going to... people probably knew when you were on this was going to be a Fed-led show, so though we'll maybe find another way to catch up with some AEW this week, but I'll go through some of the news in a minute. But Shane McMahon, last WWE news, dismissed rumours that he's starting up a new wrestling promotion, says Vince is enjoying life. That's a shame. But he speaking with TMZ over the weekend, he said he had a meeting with AEW and wished them continued success, but it's not WWE. Speaking of which, it's not the company I helped build, but you never know what's going to happen in this business. When asked about the possibility of his father attempting to buy back WWE, Shane pointed to Vince's remaining financial stake in TKO and said, well, he owns a big part of TKO, so you never know what's going to happen there either. I mean, I think we do. I don't think he's ever fucking coming back. I think we know that, but it's his dad. What do you expect? He's going to say what he's going to say, but there you go. Shane McMahon status update for anyone who was fantasy booking him coming into AEW a year ago. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
That's a shame, that, Ben. That is a shame that he's not coming. Even Darby.
All those great creative ideas he's got, mate, like Raw Underground and NXT Europe, I guess, was originally his idea. Buy UFC, that was a good idea, genuinely. You know, probably should listen to him. They would have paid a lot less for it, wouldn't they, back in the day, if they hadn't waited for the TKO merger. So there we go.
But anyway, we'll move on from Shane. I did see that, but yeah, him and Darby Allin, Ben, and an old bad whatever match would be iconic, to say the least.
I would like to think that the Vince McMahon's this new company that he's starting is going to be 23andMe or whatever the fuck it's called, is going to be staying away from wrestling, because that would be for the best for everybody. Just go play golf like the usual pervert old men. Do that instead. But yeah, so moving on to AEW, like I say, we'll keep it brief enough. Obviously, weekend show coming up, and who knows what else. But yeah, Dynamite this Wednesday is another 4-hour one, Matty. So you know, make the time, figure it out.
4 hours.
JP been calling sick. You know, weekend show, you might believe it.
We're not all living a life of luxury like you at the minute. 4 hours is a long time.
It's true, that,
That's a fucking long time.
It's a lot for me, mate. It means I can't sit and drink a nice iced coffee outside a lovely cafe in 30-degree weather.
That's the life, Ben. That's the fucking
life. I did do that today. I watched Gunther and Jey Uso outside the coffee shop. Didn't watch the In Your House. I came home for that one, but it was a very nice way to spend the day. I'll live a blessed life right now. Look, I saved up for a long time for it. I paid my dues, so there we go. But yes, I'll probably watch some of this outside the nice coffee shop, as we have Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland for Wednesday's Summer Blockbuster. We have Kenny Omega and Okada Elvis versus that's coming up. Doing the contract signing. We have Tony Storm versus Julia Hart. We have the Hit Syndicate with MJF against Commander Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, paying off last week. Good week-to-week episodic booking. Do a lot of it over on All Elite Wrestling, mate. It's good to see. Kyle Fletcher. What's that, mate?
Can Mike Bailey talk? Yeah.
I mean, does it matter? You've watched them. I've seen you lose your shit watching them wrestle.
I'm asking a question. Yeah, he's on weekly, as you'd say, he's on weekly telly now, isn't he? He's got it up his game.
Well, his first language is French, so give the lad a chance.
Well, whoever, how many different accented or from different countries wrestlers are good on the mic? Gunther's good on the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Hangman Page is good on the mic. Will Ospreay's good on the mic. Swerve Strickland's good on the mic. They got loads of great talkers in AEW.
Just saying, I'm only asking you a question, not everything.
What's the question?
Can he talk? Yeah. Can Mike Bailey talk? Yeah or no?
Well, why is it a question?
Give me an answer. Go on.
No, okay, but why?
Right. Well, I'm just asking. Go on, move on.
He wrestles well. Fits his role in the card. Can book really well. Great undercard. I mean, yeah. And the best talk too. Promos are way better than on WWE at the minute. Kyle Fletcher versus Anthony Bowens. Anthony Bowens can go off into the sun, I think, at this point. Mystico's on the show as they are building their own Lucha show next week. And we have Felka. I've got to stop saying Thekla. Damn it. Felka's the one I've got to stop saying. Thekla. It's Thelma. That's what's burned into my brain from that first week versus Queen Aminata. So there you go. Double Dynamite and Collision again this week. Any thoughts? Can Jey Uso talk? Good question. Not really.
He doesn't. He only has to say one word, Sam. And
can Solo Sikoa talk yet?
He's mastered it. Really.
Can he wrestle yet? Can he stand yet? Can he wear a suit yet?
He's mastered wrestling by only having to say one word, really. So yeah.
Solo Sikoa.
Less is more, Jey Uso. That's to answer your question. But
what's Solo Sikoa mastered, mate?
He's all right. What you been picking on Solo for, Ben? Come on. Even you said you find him entertaining at the minute. Come on. Yeah,
no, come I didn't. Ben. I said his dance was funny.
No, he's been all right the last.
I mean, in a week, a lizard got over. You know.
This is it, Ben. This is pro wrestling. This is pro wrestling, though, mate. Isn't it? This is wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling. Keyword.
Yeah.
Important the matches.
No, but if we're speaking to where the best wrestling, obviously Ospreay and
the best talk.
That will be a big good one, to be fair. I'm shocked that they're just doing it. What I've been following, shocked that they're doing it on this, but it's taking advantage of.
I still think it's a gimmick.
Do you think an angle or?
I mean, maybe we got to the point now. They've done a whole poster for it and all kinds, and they're building it up. So I guess you can't
be an angle. He's not booking it like that. He doesn't book like that.
It probably just felt like that because Swerve wasn't at TV and Ospreay did the match while I was in there, and it would fit their feud for Swerve to be like, hang on, I never agreed to that. Why am I doing that match? Okay. But I think we're probably too far. It's not like there was TV in the middle to do that. And say there was a regular Collision last week, you could have gone, oh, actually, by the way, it's not happening in time for it to not really be false advertising. You probably have got to deliver now. Fuck me. What a match to have on TV. Brilliant.
No, that is. As I say, I couldn't believe it. And I've seen the...
You still love Swerve, mate? You wanted them to get $1 billion contract, did they?
I still love Swerve, Ben. I still love him. And it's... But I've seen they actually put up, didn't they, on, I think it's the Instagram as well, AW, highlights of the last match they had as well, so I think it has to be happening, but maybe it's another match and they have the trilogy match. I don't know at all in. So it's a big one, as you say. I'm free on TV as well. It's big time, genuinely is.
Can't wait. I just hope that those last 2 hours were rough last week. Like Collision was, me and JP tried to do a show talking about it last Thursday, and it just got to a point where it was just like, no one cares about any of these matches. Like nobody does, and that they treated it like that. And we didn't have them at the time, but the quarter hours were out, and literally what you would expect to happen happened. The first quarter was really strong, like with the lead-ins from other shows, and it just created because the quality of the show wasn't there. And it gets late at night, and Americans get sleepy, but maybe they'll do a better job of it this time. Maybe they'll learn some lessons. But there we go. Interesting experiment. And of course, we've got obviously the big Lucha show with CMLL coming up next week. Grand Slam. They love tennis in Mexico, apparently. That's what I've learned. The other AW news is it's kind of AW tangentially related. I'm sure I'll chat to JP about it. Warner Brothers Discovery being split into 2 companies. essentially, what you call it, Zaslav knows
Zaslav.
about it. Knows about as much as it's seen from the outside. But it's weird because like somebody said this on the Discord, like all you see in wrestling circles because of Punk and Tony Khan is what a smart man he is. And if you Google his name, it's people calling him a fucking moron because he's the one behind the HBO becoming Max and all of that stuff. But yeah, they're splitting it into two companies where AEW is going to land. Probably not on the sports side, but essentially they're moving all the debt into one company, and the other company is going to be wildly profitable. That's my reading of it. JP and maybe Will Cooling could do a special on that, but I'll chat to JP next time I speak to him. And yeah, the only other stuff, obviously TNA against All Odds was at the weekend. Did you see any of that?
I didn't see any of it, Ben. Although I'm way behind on my TNA, obviously, unfortunately as well. But there's a Ali versus Mike Santana match that I really need to go and see, and I watch the highlights. Like, when you see them clipped on Twitter, and it looks fucking incredible. So I'm definitely this week going to watch that match. 100%.
That's the one Ewan with the knee was putting over, isn't it?
Ah, mate, honestly, like I think I've seen the first one they had, which was really good. I think this is the second one, so yeah, it looks even better. But yeah, we'll see how Santana gets on. I think his appearance on NXT, what I read as well, WWE are quite high on him, so. Always authentic again, isn't he? Good character is Santana, so we'll see how he gets on. Definitely.
I think he's someone who's just he's got upside. He really has, and I think AEW missed the boat with him. I think Ortiz got in the way. I think Ortiz was clearly the problem in that team. I believe Santana when he says like Ortiz didn't have any, was quite happy with his lot in life. But that's all right. You get people like that, and you get people like Santana who want to push on. And that felt like all talk at the time. It was like, don't know about that. He's proven it. He's gone out there and he's trying. He's coming up with new aspects to his character. His work's been good in TNA. He's probably going to get himself a WWE contract out of it. How high he can go, I don't know, but I think he's showing that like he's willing to put that work in, and clearly Ortiz wasn't.
Like, I'm not putting him on the same pedestal, but
he's like Jay and Jimmy in it, mate. No. There's a good one and a bad one.
He reminds me of like a toned down Eddie Kingston. He's just real. He's got that real side to him. He's that authenticity on the mic and the way he carries himself. He's just normal fella, isn't he? But like, you can believe everything he says. That's the vibes I get off him anyway.
Like CM Punk, mate. Just believe everything he says. Believe in him. He'll never let you down.
See, that's why you're a professional, to circle it back around to him. I love that. That's why you're a pro there, mate.
Don't worry, I've got another one coming, mate, for our Unfinally story. But before that, I mean, it's a weird story to cover, but before we get to the Unfinally, did you see Claire Lynch died? The actress who played her. That was surprise. Apparently, it was a couple of months ago that she died, and she'd obviously been working else. She was just an actress, wasn't she? Julia Riley was her name. But apparently, a cousin posted to Facebook that she passed away. The story went, wasn't it, that it was Daniel's work that was at Universal, and she was working there, and he was the one who got it into TNA, and she. For good and bad, was well known for that AJ Styles angle.
That's what it's
it was,
it was. It was a memorable thing, and God bless her. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, like, it's always sad to hear anyone passing away, but it just popped up. Shocking.
Weird part of TNA law, that wasn't it? But worth a quick mention. Apparently, there's a memorial site there for her as well. But I couldn't end there. So our finally story for you, Matty, is apparently Limp Bizkit's Fred Durst has said that he's open to creating a WWE theme for Bron Breakker. He has come out and said that himself. Was obviously. It was the fucking fake websites that you follow. All of them, like, were going, WWE thinking about getting Limp Bizkit out to do like a two. In fact, I'm pretty sure it started as like a WrestleVotes parody account saying it was going to happen, and it's literally like Ron Killings, mate. It's gathered all of this fucking momentum, and now Fred Durst saying he's going to do it. It's a bit like Metro Boomin's talking about doing a theme for Ron Killings, isn't he? And he's wanting to do all kinds of themes. Basically, everyone's like,
he's doing one for
the themes are they had an interaction, didn't they, on Twitter? I saw that. Like, the WWE themes are shit right now. I don't know. You can be the expert on this, mate? Would 2025 Fred Durst / Limp Bizkit be able to do anything better?
Yeah, 2065 Fred Durst to be able to do something better, Benno. So yeah, I'm all for this. It'll fit the character as well for me. Like, he's got. I don't mind his theme now. It's. I don't know. I don't mind it as theme now, but it will be an obvious upgrade if Fred and the lads get their hands on that. Yeah, looking forward to that. WWE's favourite band of all time still lives, Benno. Still lives.
That was a fucking line, wasn't it? Matty Edwards' favourite band.
They'll always be in my top 5 and 10, Benno, as well, for sure. Always, the lads.
Oh, well, there we go, and that's kind of it, really. Very fed-pilled show it was today. I feel like I needed a cold shower, mate. I best not. Probably should get.
Why we get the viewers, Benno, for that? That's what it is. The Fed.
Unbelievable. Apparently, although AW's growing. Anything else you wanted to talk about? Was what I was gonna say, mate. Anything else to throw out there? Anything else you've been watching? Anything else going on in the world? Go on, 1 hour 58. Let's get it to 2 hours.
I've just been like a good podcast. Them 3 days of sickness I had off work, Ben. Like just awoken, as you said, we talked on thing. Like usually I'm watching wrestling to prepare and do preparation and homework for the podcast. Been actually watching old wrestling off my own back, Ben. I've dug all my old physical DVDs out, got the old metal suitcase out full of DVDs, all my sets. Just been watching old matches that, I haven't seen ever or haven't seen for a long, long time. And this isn't just like 90s and 2000s stuff. This is like 80s and 70s stuff as well. So been delving deep and subscribed to a new Google Drive there, wrestling playlist. I'm sure a few of our listeners will be aware of this. I think they do. Is it the Pro Wrestling Only or Voices of Wrestling? It's one of the guys. I always get
It's probably PWO.
Yeah, PWO. It's like genuinely, he's got every bit of foot, like match wise. Bender stuff from 1899, mate. Like 1899 is the first
time
footage he's got, and then there's like 20s, 30s. It's sectioned into decades. It's incredible, like the way he's done it. I mean, James, I was a conversation with Jamesy about it. Just an absolute madman in the best way of all time. Charles, I think his name is. Just unbelievable the work he's doing, and he's breaking it down into like a newsletter as well, and like explaining stuff about each month of the years as well. He's up to 1986 with that at the minute. It'll go on for years and years and years. It's just been incredible. Just to every federation you can think of, just pure matches though. Just really been enjoying it, and long may it continue.
Send the link over, mate. Might have a little gander. I've got spare time, as you said there.
It's a paid one as well, Ben, which will blow your mind. It works out £7.44 a month for access.
And you're paying it?
Yeah, well worth it, mate. Yeah.
From your own account?
From my own account, my own money. Yes, I am.
Is your name G Mason? No, okay, fair enough. Crazy. Fair enough.
And what have you been up to, except for sitting outside, enjoying life, enjoying coffees, enjoying lovely food? What else have you been doing?
That pretty much, yeah. That's been my life the last while. So yeah, gonna keep living up. I should be in Vietnam for 2 months. It's looking like I'm gonna try and renew this place because it's been perfect for podcasts. Lighting's been weird today, but other than that, it's been amazing. So yeah, more of that really. More coffees, more food. Gonna go a couple of pits I want to visit. I want to have a nice little setting up a nice little day at the beach coming up as well. But plenty of podcasting on top. There'll be more of it. If people enjoyed that live in the middle of last week, might do a few more things like that coming up. I think I'd like to get going at least while I'm here in Vietnam.
I mean, I'll probably say it on the weekend before, because the last one.
We've gone over 2 hours now, mate. Hurry up.
Oh, sorry, but this is sorry for CD. But this is the last time to obviously the public as well. It's our birthday soon, Ben. So obviously I'll message you with a happy birthday as well on there in a couple of weeks, in case you don't.
It's the day after yours, mate. If you forget,
I'll say happy. Just being nice, still, Ben. Just being nice. You know what I mean? Oh,
it is next week, both of our birthdays. So yeah, wish us both a happy birthday. There we go. If you want to wish us a happy birthday, the best way you can do it, join the Patreon. Patreon.com/grapple. There you go. There's your plug. YouTube.com/grapple. Plenty of shows coming up. Plenty of shows in the can. Like I say, Gareth did all-timer job breaking down Omega Okada 4 at the weekend. So yeah, listen to that. Even if you don't have the hour and 5 minutes to watch that main event, but the undercard was well worth the conversation too as well. Just to see Cody Rhodes and Hangman Page teaming together, which was a normal thing back then, but it's just so weird to see now with Rey Mysterio on the other side. Like what a weird world we had in 2018. Didn't know how good we had it, and we figured that out on that podcast, as well as Terry 93 coming up as we close the book on Hulk Hogan's 1993 in the Fed. Luckily, only had 3 matches, so we got the televised. So we got the Yokozuna one coming up, as well as Mr. Nanny Film Club review, and outside of that, the Grapple quiz, and obviously Eddie's King of the Mountain show as well. So plenty coming up. Get those questions ready, Matt.
Always in a collective month, like I said earlier on, I'll be working hard getting them questions together. How many and how many different rounds or different things we'll is that all left to me? Because I hope so, because I'll put my heart and soul into this and want it to be like one of the best. Well, I want to trump you so much, but in a good way, not too hard. But I've got already some.
Just remember, it's a podcast and we want to have fun. We want to make a good podcast.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I want it to be a great listen. Of course I do.
I'm sure you'll do a great job, and Connor will be helping out as well. But yeah, that's coming up as well. And last quick shout out, sorry, we will get out of here, but it's important. I wanted to mention it. Mentioned it on the weekend show as well, but it was obviously Dilshah's funeral on Friday. So just wanted, if anybody didn't hear us talk about it there, just wish everybody well who went, and wanted to just give credit to the people who did, and the people who made it a day in tribute to him that he rightly deserved as well. Lovely to see the photos popping up on Discord and stuff as well. Always on our minds. Always,
Ben. I seen the photo and just seeing like the Undertaker t-shirt and the AEW t-shirt, like it really got me. Like, so yeah, God bless him. God bless him.
Definitely. So yeah, there you go. On that note, that's us for another spotlight. Back for weekend show with JP. Maybe more stuff going on as well. But yeah, get all that, and we'll catch you again on the next one. Good night, all.
Ta-da.
Scouse.